Welcome to the Intelligent Idea Topic Podcast.
And we up and running. Bubba da bum boom. Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of the Intelligent Idea Talkers Podcast, for the week of 8/31/2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host D.
This is Juice.
This is Zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
And we're
talking.
Man.
It was like, yo, you need a nickname, man.
Mm-hmm.
You need
Star Wars
tag.
lore, man. You know, we're talking Star Wars lore, and I'm seeing the name Kyle Kestis, right? We've all played the games, Kyle Kestis. Where does Kyle fit into all this? You know, because I remember at the end of, and I know where didn't even introduce properly the subject matter, but sorry guys, we were talking Star Wars lore before the cast, and we're trying to figure out what is Anakin's destiny, his path. Was it cheapened if there are multiple people who are born strictly of the Force? And I guess it depends on which side of the point you fall on. I'm of the opinion that yes, it does cheapen it. I think it cheapens it. You know, like if you had multiple, think about it in the savior aspect, right? If you had multiple Jesuses, right? Jesus, what made Jesus special? It was an immaculate conception. He didn't have a physical father, and yet he was born. So if multiple people can do that, I don't know what that means. I don't know where that leaves Anakin.
All right. Here's another perspective, right? So we're talking about immaculate conception, right? Which is conception of a God with a human making a baby, essentially, right? Like they say immaculate conception is like, in the Christian context, it's like hyper woo-woo power, right? Hyper magic, hyper power. But we also have to consider in other lore, like there was a lot of immaculate concepting as children. Fucking Theseus, Hercules, goddamn
Perseus, yeah, right.
Perseus. Like these motherfuckers out here running around, all immaculate conceived.
That's not exactly true. That's not exactly true, because Zeus was like everyone's dad, right? Like, so
he was a god.
Yeah. So Zeus was like pregnant.
Yeah.
Pregnant. Like he would just point like pregnant.
Zeus?
Pregnant.
Well, no. Let's get this right. Zeus was fucking.
Yeah. Well, sure.
All over the place.
Right. This nigga he was up in it. So he.
Yeah. So that's so.
Pointing is no fun.
So to the.
But he's not interested in that.
So to that point, not exactly immaculate. I mean, I guess like because he was a god, right? Like he's god of Olympus. So like,
he's not a Titan, right? So I guess he's not the god's god, but he was top tier god, you know. So,
well. You know,
I mean,
anyway. I see your point though, Juice. Like, yeah, it did happen a lot, and I guess.
But we have to say, like, so the heroes that came of this, right? Like, they had flaws, but they were all still considered heroes in their rights. Now, if we're talking about saviors, I would argue that like Anakin is far from a savior, right? Like,
I don't know.
They made like there was a prophecy, and there was. In my opinion, there was a prophecy, and then there was a carrying out of what needed to be done. But what aspect of this nigga was saving shit?
Maybe it's like Frank said, having Luke and Leia was his destiny. Maybe it was him tossing Palpatine down the
Luke and Leia were just salvaging.
You know? Because he was supposed to save the Force, right? So we all thought that him throwing Palpatine down the tube was him saving everyone, right? He ended the dark side, and he kind of brought back the Jedi in his own way, right? But fast forward a couple years, and no, Palpatine comes back. So, you know, yeah, I guess maybe it just depends on where you fall on it. Like Frank said, maybe his destiny was to have Luke, you know, and you know that imbalance in the Force of the dark side getting too strong. Maybe his chosen one, you know, the whole prophecy was for him to bring Luke back in, build up the Jedi Academy, and bring balance back to the Force. You know, so yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on where you fall. I'm trying not to spoil anything from the Acolyte because a lot of this comes up
Frank, you don't
in
mind
the
if we
Acolyte.
spoil the Acolyte, do you?
I don't mind.
Okay, because like here, nobody's gonna watch it now because they cancel it, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna matter
Yeah,
anymore.
which is so stupid, Frank. You know,
Like,
we were saying before the cast, like this shakes your faith in Disney as a whole, right? Like you don't have any. If you're willing to cancel a show after one season, you know, especially on a streaming service where people might not pick up even watching the show till 2 or 3 years from now, you know,
yeah, you
why
kind of
would I?
like you just took a big shit on a fucking product you made.
Well,
If you don't have faith in your product, why should I, as the consumer? You know.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second here, right? Did the show deserve to be canceled as just a show, right? Not about the politics behind it, the behind the scenes shit. Like as a
I don't
show,
think so.
was it
I don't
good
think the
enough?
show.
Was it good enough to?
I
Because
don't.
I have an opinion of the episodes I did see, and it's like honestly, it wasn't great. From what I did see, I got about halfway through it, but you know, I don't know how the last half turned out, so that's on me. But
How
like
far did you make it though?
episode 4.
Okay.
That was I'm trying to remember now. Episode 4.
It wasn't great. The beginning episodes, it was kind of slow, and then it took off from, I guess maybe what 5, episode 5.
So maybe
yeah,
I
really picked up.
I just missed where it started getting good. But like, you have an 8 episode show, 8 or 9 episodes.
8 episodes.
8
Yeah,
episodes.
I got one left. Yeah.
So yeah, like you get an 8 episode show, like a show like that with a limited run like that should be already on and popping by episode 2. You know, use episode 1 to establish, you know, your characters, some backstory, some exposition, and then episode 2 is where it's like acting as like the end of act 1 of a movie, where like things start to, like, all the problems start to reveal themselves, the conflicts start to reveal themselves, and then like you spend the rest of the time like, how do we fix it? How do we get to the end? How do we get to the resolution? But you know, taking 50% of your time to start getting good, I don't know. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion of the show. From what I
thought
saw,
it did start slow, but I didn't hate it. I didn't think the story on the Acolyte was any worse than like Ahsoka. Ahsoka was only really good because of the backstory we had from Rebels, right? Like Ahsoka was a continuation of Rebels, so that's kind of what invested you in that series. But to me, the Acolyte wasn't bad, and I don't think it was too overly political as well. I don't think they were adding a lot of politics in it.
You were saying that like from the episode you saw, would you say it deserved to be canceled off of those 4 episodes?
I mean, like, it's hard honestly, because like maybe the show could have been given more of a chance, right? Maybe have a longer first season, and then it would make sense as to why the first 4 episodes were moving as slow as it did.
But wait, like as far as the world building, as far as the story that was being told in those first 4 episodes,
yeah,
you think it should have been canceled? Like, no, this was trash.
I'm not saying it was trash, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. Like, was it pretty good?
It was
good.
It was below. To me, it was average.
Okay,
the first 4.
Yeah, I feel like a shit show should be trash, but I feel like I feel like, you know, if it was just, even with just those 4 episodes, and I'm with you, like the pacing was weird, right? Like 100%. Like, and I understand, like I feel like they didn't want to approach it as a regular story, right? I feel like they had an attempt to tell the story in segments and using flashbacks to fill in. I feel like they were trying to have a whodunit, right? Like a mystery. And so they also threw a bunch of other things in there, which kind of made it convoluted. But off the break, man, I'm just like, I feel like the visuals of the show was good, right?
Good. I mean,
The story I feel like was solid. Like I feel like that first story of like who was killing these Jedi and why, and then who is this person? I feel like that was like intriguing, right?
Yeah,
You were
it's enough to
curious.
get you in.
What's going on here?
Yeah,
Who
it's
are
enough to
these
get you
people?
in.
And
Even
then
from the
also
first
on top of
episode.
that, the acting I feel like was solid. Like I don't know, the actor who plays Soul from Squid Game, that guy
Mhm.
was a solid actor through the whole thing. Like
I
for
thought so
me,
too.
he's not like the other actors were. I think were fair, but he carried it right with his depth. Um, and then you didn't even. You got to finish. But
No, go ahead.
that's the
Go ahead.
thing.
It's
Like,
okay.
sucks
Go
because
ahead.
it's hard to like say to finish it because it's not going to matter anymore. But like, as you just like, that's why it's kind of frustrating for me, right? But it's like,
There was
I just feel like the whole
Okay.
cancellation was like a little bit like
Premature.
premature.
So
I
okay.
thought it was a panic move.
So how much of that do you think was because of the politics behind the show?
So for
Mm,
me, it's like
The
50-50.
the woke the woke agenda and the DEI agenda that Disney is all fucking over.
Yeah.
How much do you think it's about 50-50?
I think it's 50-50. Like easily, I think it's easily 50-50 because I feel like if I did hear a lot about the money that they spent, right?
Mhm.
Apparently they spent too much money.
Those shows are not cheap. Yeah.
return on investment. How much return on investment do you expect with a streaming show?
That's
You
the
know,
thing,
you
right?
don't
It's
really
like
see your return for years from now. You know, like there are
your
people,
return is to keep people watching your shit.
right? And
Like
when you panic cancel a show after one season, which is what I feel like this was, for whatever reason, it doesn't give people faith to pick up Disney and start watching a show. Oh, they might cancel it. You
yeah, they
know,
might cancel the next show. Like why would I invest in like the ones what they did with Marvel? Like
I mean,
I feel like you
I feel like
start these
minimum.
sidelines, but it's
isn't
like
isn't the
none of these
man
matter anymore, do they?
isn't the Mandalorian the only show that has multiple Star Wars show? I should say it has multiple seasons.
Andor has the second season.
Andor. Wow.
It's greenlit.
Ahsoka's scheduled
Did
for
not
two
expect
seasons.
that. Did
Yeah,
not expect
that's
that.
just
Andor has a
slow as
second season.
fuck.
Yeah, it's no.
I can't do it. I tried multiple times, but
I just watched Rogue One.
yeah, I
I
you
just
know what's
watched
gonna
Rogue
happen.
One. Like I know
But
what's
Andor
gonna happen here, but we're gonna stretch this out. All right, sure.
again, I don't want to say nothing, but maybe the DEI era is over. Like, what the fuck? Like, if that's if that's how they acting, because you give. But here's the thing, right? Apparently, and you know, I've been obsessed with over this shit, but apparently they say they spent too much money on it, you know, and so maybe between that and I feel like if it was that by itself, I feel like people would. I feel like they would keep it up, but I also feel like that joint got bombed. Like I feel like it was targeted.
Yeah, I mean
I definitely feel like it was targeted, and that targeting,
that's why I asked the question.
yeah,
About like how much of it do you think is about the politics and like we've seen a lot of things over the years where the politics play way more into the reasons why shows either continue or don't. And like the Marvels, right? The Marvels was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I watched it again the other day and I'm like, this still fucking holds up. But at the same time, the movie was attacked and targeted, like you say, from the get-go. Because all female led movie with one white girl, one black girl, and one Indian girl. And it's like India from India, but it's like that it seemed like that had a lot more to do with why it was panned as it was, but to me the quality held up. And so excuse me, I feel like with examples like the Acolyte, that was I think maybe Disney only had the plan Disney didn't really have a plan to let it go past season 2 because they have, they do a whole bunch of shit before the show actually premieres to the general public, right? They have the focus groups and they have like dailies and constant like revisions, reshoots if necessary, and things like that before they actually release it to the general public. And so like a lot of that shit is already like coming down the pipe before they even like release the show. And maybe the show, as you were mentioning, there's so much of an investment that they were like, we just got to put it out anyway, because like we spent so much money on this show. It's like a record-breaking amount of money that we spent on this show. So we need to put it out anyway, and maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe the general public will be the show's savior.
I don't know.
Unfortunately,
I feel like as a production company, you have to take on multiple years. I mean, the risk versus the rewards of being in this business, right? And a show has to have minimum 2 seasons. If you're not willing to go at least 2 seasons into a show, as far as production cost, and that's just the minimum. And I feel like they should have expected that. It's a panic move. I saw an article on Forbes, and the author, man, I can't see his names. He believes the culprit is twofold, right? They didn't draw big enough numbers to justify the cost of the show, like Juice was saying. And with the expense of the show, it didn't receive enough.
Shit, he froze. I don't know. He froze, but I'm sure he'll pick back up in a minute. He probably got a phone call or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, no, man, like, I agree, though, like, if you can at least do 2 seasons, right? Like, here, imagine merchandise, right? Star Wars merchandise is one of their biggest selling points, right? Like, they sell merchandise all the time. That's what they run off of. Dude, Darth Teeth. You didn't get to Darth Teeth. But Darth Teeth is a motherfucking thing. You put this guy out there, people are gonna buy anything related to him. You put that lightsaber out there, you put these pieces out there, and people are gonna buy the merch. But they just nexted it all. Like there's no, you have the merch for season 1, I guess, sure, but like the lore of creating everything else is gonna go along with it. That merch, those sales gone, right? Because they're not going to add anymore.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I don't know if it's very like. I think the era of merch driving shows has been long over, right?
Okay.
That was like the late 80s, early 90s. Well, actually, like late 80s into like the early 2000s, I should say. Right, like Ninja Turtles, the era of Ninja Turtles, Transformers, pretty much all animated TV shows were driven by merch solely. Shows were created to drive toy sales, or merch sales, right? But
well, yeah, I wouldn't
like
think
I think
primary factor. But.
I think in this era, it's not about the merch anymore. Right, the merch is not as profitable as it was in like 30 years prior, right? Like, so that may be true, right? But like, it's not going to be their moneymaker, right? Their moneymaker is going back to streaming, subscriptions, and views, right? Even though they're still hemorrhaging money, they're just not hemorrhaging as much when the views are up there. So like they do take a risk. It's a very calculated risk, but they do take a risk by making the show and then putting out season one, and then seeing how it does. But some show they had to have like a ridiculous amount of confidence and a ridiculous amount of investment in order to like green light for 2 seasons right off the bat. You have shows like you have all these Marvel shows that are literally just 1 season, with the exception of Loki.
I feel like that's unique to Disney, though.
No, not well. I'm thinking of like primetime networks, and nah, it's not. It's not like you have like other networks like, well, fuck, Disney owns so much. I'm
Streaming,
thinking of
like
Fox.
streaming shows
I'm
though,
thinking of
like
Fox. I'm
shows
thinking of like ABC, which are all Disney properties now. Fuck.
like
But like,
Paramount, right?
I mean,
Like
Paramount
the whole Star Trek right show, right? The newest one show,
Discovery.
yeah,
Discovery, but I mean Star Trek is based on a big Discovery is based on it has the big name going for it to warrant new seasons. Like you had Star Trek Picard going for 5 seasons or
yeah.
something like
Like
that.
you tell me they greenlit those seasons one by one by one, or
Yeah,
like
yeah, 100%. They would not try to they they may at the very most like green light of like a full season ahead of time. Like they're like, we don't want you to shoot just the pilot to see if the show will do well, because there's a big name like Star Trek, Star Wars. We have these big actors, so we have confidence that this show, based on the characters and the name, that we want you to give us a full 13 episode season.
mhm.
Just make the 13 episodes. We'll invest in it, and then we'll see how it does. If it does well, we're gonna greenlight you for season 2. If it doesn't do well, you're fucked. That's how it's always been in television. Always. Like, they'll at the very most they won't take a calculated risk for multiple seasons unless the show's pilot just somehow fucking knocks it out of the park. But even then, the show can still be canceled. Even if they greenlight multiple seasons, they can still cancel the show. So it's always season by season, because they want to see those numbers first before they put more money into the show. Because if not, it would just be a waste of money and time.
Yeah. All right, man. I don't know much about it. Yeah. So.
Well, I pulled up an article. My bad, I cut out early.
Oh
Pulled
yeah.
up an article. This is by Eric Kane.
Sorry. Might be my headphone died. Have to switch it up. That's feedback.
But it's got some really interesting numbers. So they have like the budget for all of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, including the Acolyte, Mando season 1 and 2. The Acolyte is, and this is by Eric Kane on Forbes.com. The Acolyte is the second most expensive show on Disney Plus, 180 million after Andor, 250 million. They spent 250 million on making Andor, which is the only Star Wars show that has a 12 episode season. So no other Star Wars show goes past 8 episodes. That's true. That is true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you look at the cost per minute of the footage, the Acolyte cost a whopping $671,641 per minute to produce. Damn. That's some crazy production. I mean, did we see that on the screen? Did we see $600,000 a minute? I think we did. I mean, if you look at all the CGI in the back,
and visuals and production, yeah.
I thought the show looked great. I didn't think it looked bad. Let's see. The Acolyte cost far more to produce and performed far worse than any other Disney Plus Star Wars series, and this is why it was canceled.
Damn, even Kenobi? Oof.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, Kenobi was horrible, man.
Kenobi was trash.
Let's see. Kenobi had a budget of 90 million. Cost per minute of Kenobi was $405,405 a minute. I guess we saw it on the screen. Kenobi didn't look bad. None of these Disney Plus shows look bad. The production value.
It's not about. I mean, the production value
Kenobi was
there,
trash.
but it's not. Yes.
Yeah, Kenobi was trash. That's
was not good.
Especially that fight with Kenobi and Anakin. I'm like, man, this is supposed to be like just epic, man. You know,
it felt lifeless to me.
It did. It was just
felt completely lifeless to me. Like, I did not care, and the build up to it was almost non-existent. I mean, we all saw it coming, and it's like, okay, this is supposed to be much bigger than it is, and it was like, all right, sure, let's just add this to the saga and then move on.
Man, Book of Boba Fett had a budget of $105,355,000 per minute. That's crazy how you can calculate it per minute. Like you
I
can
think it's
calculate the
irrelevant to
cost
calculate like
down to
that.
the damn minute.
Why?
Jesus.
The fuck is supposed to? What am I looking for? Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
guess it's a way to look at it.
basically they're saying that the Acolyte was canceled because it cost too much. But I feel like as a company, you still have to make a multi-season commitment to a show.
There could have been plenty of Marvel shows that should have never existed or have been canceled if that was the case. You know, like Marvel shows be more than movie budgets, and like more than big like AAA movie budgets, and they don't cancel those shows. They let them run.
So is this like greed on the part of these companies for wanting their streaming services? I mean,
Yes.
I feel like
Straight up, 100%.
I feel like for
Undoubtedly.
Disney, for Star Wars and for Marvel,
It's just-
like they should have, like the movie scene was so special, and it kind of got cheapened when you changed everything over to streaming. You know, I get it, you need content for your platform, but it's like the stories are getting cheapened. You know, it's not as impactful as they should
The
be.
thing is,
because
like,
so numerous.
I disagree though, because I like shows. I like shows on what do you call it? I like
Plus
shows on
streaming
stories that I like, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a Star Wars show, you have a Marvel show, right? Like I like these shows. When I'm watching the Lord of the Rings show now, right?
Is that good?
Like I like that they're expanding on this shit. I love The Hobbit. The movies were great, but like shows add an element of depth that movies can't because of time constraints, right? Like you don't. It's just not the same. You can't lay it out the same way, right? You don't get the side stories. You don't get the intricacies, right? You don't. So I prefer shows, right, like that, right? I think movies still happen. Maybe you do shows and you do movies like Marvel has been doing, but like I get that it costs money, but like what the fuck, dude? Like we already raised your prices. Like we are paying you monthly. Millions of people are paying you monthly. What the fuck more do you want to do the show? Like, I mean, there's no other. Like, how else you gonna do it? You gonna take more bank loans or some shit? What the fuck else you gonna do? Like, this is how this shit works. So do your damn best, right? That's how I feel. It's like do your damn best. Like, I'm not worried about your return on investment, right? If that's all you fucking worried about, then you are gonna continue to crank out shit, right? Like you're gonna have problem shows, right? Not every show is gonna be a hitter. But like again, if it's all a calculation, if it's all a financial calculation, like
I'm with you.
You're gonna have a lot more duds
as the
because
fans,
you're not feeding into the actual like show. You're worried about how to save a buck. Like what was it?
They should be worried about it. It's their job to worry about those things. Though. You have to. That's just the way capitalism works. You know.
Yeah, it is the way capitalism works. That's why it's
they don't come out
with
these shows purely just for entertainment. They come out with them for a return on investment. You know, so
it's definitely the first and foremost thing. Like it's always about the money. It's never about the quality.
But you're right.
It's never about the quality.
And I'm not saying that like I'm just saying they need to change. Well, no, I'm saying that all I'm saying is that I don't know if they could make it. Instead of the 100% first thing you give a fuck about, make it the 80% first thing you worry about, right? And then you have space to actually give a fuck about the shit you're making, right? Like,
right.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I guess when you buy a property for however many billions of dollars, you know, you want some of that shit back. And the last thing for me on the Acolyte,
they haven't made it back yet.
It had an average. The Acolyte had an average view per episode of 9.3 million people. Like, it's hard to say you had a view of 9 million people and it was a failure. Like, then how do you measure success? Like, what would have been a success in Disney's eyes? I guess
the thing about capitalism is that it's always increasing. It always has to be more than the last time, right? And that's the issue, right? Like, that's kind of what makes it a doomed structure to fail eventually, because it always has to make. They have to make more money than they did last period. Even though last period they broke records, they still
Right.
got to make more. So when they make more than that, this period, next period is still gonna make more, and that's the fucking diminishing returns because you're gonna keep putting, you're just gonna keep trying to make so much. That, y'all know what I'm saying. Like it's.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, man.
Disney forever be moving the goalposts, right? Like they're always like you said, trying to make more. And as far as that number, the 9.3 million, that's a hell of a success. Like they're like, I think they're trying to like compare themselves to like big primetime networks, right? Like think of like the top shows in recent history. It went from shows like Friends and Seinfeld averaging 20 plus million per episode every week. And now the new standard or the new like big time show is Big Bang Theory, but the average fell greatly from 20 plus million to like 11 million.
But that wasn't even views, was it? That was based off of ad rev, right? Or that was
No,
eyes.
It was based almost solely on ad revenue, but it's like 60. No, it's like 70-30, where 30 was actually concurrent unique viewers per episode for whatever series that was being watched. And times have changed, right? From like the era of Friends and Seinfeld to even Big Bang Theory to even now, where streaming is definitely the way to watch TV now, right? Like nobody really watches, or at least I know most people I know don't watch shows on regular TV anymore. Everybody's
when we went to Myrtle Beach for vacation, there was no fucking streaming on TV. We just had to watch TV.
You had to watch regular TV.
Yeah,
that shit was
and everything.
terrible. Oh my god, I can't do that shit. I was just like, I'm gonna read the book. Fuck this shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read the books.
Yeah, for real, man.
it's
I'm gonna read a
TV
magazine.
Guide
I can't do shit.
No, but it's like
TV Guide channel.
It's like Disney is always about the money, right? Like 9.3 million viewers, man, that's fucking insane. But there's no real like ad revenue behind that, right? There's no real, like, those numbers are almost always estimated because
I was just thinking that, like, how do they calculate that?
Because you could have a person, you turn on the Acolyte one day and you're like, oh, some shit happens. You're like, oh, I got to turn it off. They count that as a view, right? Right. But there's also metrics, right? There's also metrics behind that too, where it's like, who viewed more than 5 minutes, who viewed more than 10 minutes, who viewed the whole episode, right? And those numbers are also put into account with the 9.3 million or whatever the average number that they come up with is. Right. And so then they start to say, like, how can we get those 5-minute viewers to become 10-minute viewers? How can we get those 10-minute viewers to become full episode viewers? And round and round it fucking goes.
You continue the story so people are interested, and then they have to go back to figure out what the fuck happened to get here.
If they're losing money, however the fuck, whatever the fuck their metrics are, if they're losing money, that they're not going to do that. That's unfortunate.
No, that's the fucking problem though, right? Because that's what I was just talking about, man. It's a loop. It's a fucking failure loop, right? Yeah. Like, here, how do people find out about shows to like? Number one way, word of mouth. Mm-hmm.
True that.
I heard that for a lot of people.
It's for everything.
You said it earlier.
It's for everything.
Breaking Bad. A lot of people didn't really start watching Breaking Bad until it was well into the show, well into like season 5, and that's when it really picked up.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Game of Thrones. I didn't start picking up Game of Thrones until season 2 was out.
Yeah.
Then I went back and restarted. That's how it works. But if you cut off at the end of season 1. And then you have look. I'm gonna spoil the shit. We already talked about it. Like they introduced Plagueis.
Whoa,
but that's the thing. Yeah. Like that's it. He looked around the corner. Imagine if they did something with that shit.
So
who's not gonna go back and watch season 1 to figure out what the fuck is going on in season 2?
Wait, hold on.
So
Hold
the
on. Hold
Acolyte
on.
had some good ideas, man. The Corto, like they had some great ideas, being set in
You
the
didn't
High
see
Republic era. You know what I mean? Like it had some good ideas.
So you mean to tell me that they introduced Darth Plagueis finally, and all he's doing is looking around the corner, and it's like the end
hey, guess what? That was
credits?
a nice setup for season 2.
Oh
Right,
my
right.
god!
Yeah, I don't think the show was cancel worthy. I thought it was actually not the word. I like this. I was more
Dude, the
interested in Acolyte than
cortosis. The
Kenobi.
cortosis. Frank, you gotta watch the fucking next
The
episode.
Cortosis too? What the fuck?
Bro,
Darth Teeth was actually a
Darth
memorable
Teeth.
character. I thought he was like very memorable as far as the Star Wars universe goes. And I feel like
Let's go
early
back to lore
on,
now. Do we talk lore now? Sorry, go. My bad, D.
I feel like early on with the Disney Plus shows, because I started my Disney Plus journey late. You guys were already deep into it. You knew about Luke coming back and all this shit, and goddamn you guys for that too, man. Because y'all knew this motherfucker came back, man. All right, but I feel like I feel like early on, Disney cared about the stories. Like I feel like when WandaVision came out, the early on Disney Plus shows, The Mandalorian, like I feel like money wasn't such a big deal. I feel like they were making better quality shows. I mean, of course it was. I'm with you.
It was a
They're a corporation at the end of the day. They're a business. They are about making money.
They were
It's
brave.
always
They were brave then. They were brave.
But
Let
yeah,
me
I
say
feel like
that.
they were trying new things,
They
and
scared as fuck to lose a nickel right now.
honestly,
also
I feel like there were some great ideas in the Acolyte as far as Star Wars goes, and those are just abandoned now. The
It was the
Cortosis,
High Republic,
Darth
man.
Plagueis, like
When was the last time you saw 8 different lightsabers just lined up, like to
crazy.
go scrap? Like this shit was crazy.
so
Yeah, we've never seen a scene like that in cinematic. I guess on the big screen.
Since the goddamn what was it? Where Mace Windu cut off Boba Fett or Jango Fett's head, whatever that fucking fight was.
Right. Yeah,
I
episode
think,
6.
Yeah,
was it 6?
something.
yeah, I think like
No, episode 5.
I think
Attack
like
the Clones.
commenting on like the bravery that they had back then, it was weird, right? Because like it happened in the same around the same time as the pandemic, when they started, like when Disney Plus started becoming a thing, and they were like, we've got this brave new idea, but it didn't start until 2019, and then pandemic starts 2020, early 2020, and then
So you're saying they caused the pandemic?
I didn't say I didn't say that at all. Like, how did you get there?
So they started the streaming, but they needed people to stay their asses at home.
I think
so they called up China. It was
I would say
they go China.
I would say if I was to put my tinfoil hat on, I would say maybe they somehow knew that it was coming, right? In order to conveniently, but to start the streaming service right before, because it was like summer, like late summer when it was actually fall. It was like September, I think, September 2019 when they started Disney Plus and WandaVision and all that shit. But like, I'm taking my tinfoil hat back off now, and I'm saying like, the reason why like that structure worked as well as it did is because they had really good timing. Tinfoil hat back on for a second, right? Like, because the pandemic happened, and then like everybody was forced to kind of stay home, and we had nothing.
Right.
We had nothing. Yeah. We didn't have a whole lot more to do outside of for entertainment, because we couldn't really go outside like that. We couldn't go to the movies like that.
Movie theater shut down. Yeah. Right.
And then like all
by design.
Now all of a sudden we shift our focus from the movies to this new streaming service. Now there's no more movies to go to.
The theaters.
And then on top of that, right?
Yo, this is some Joe Rogan shit I gotta tell you about.
All of the other streaming services started to follow suit and try to one up each other, because this was the new way, right? Mandalorian. This was the way, right? Because then HBO was like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fucking release movies right for you at home at the same day as the theater. Yep. And then everybody else is like, oh shit, So then everybody else started
Can you
doing that
do
too. Like,
Can they
that's
do that? Yeah.
impossible. Like, that's impossible. But has that been possible the entire time? Like, why haven't we been doing this for a much longer period of time? Either way, I feel like that whole structure of streaming TV, being home, watching these TV shows in serial form at home, the only place you can watch these shows were on these streaming services that you get to buy, you get to splinter and buy. I felt like that really went hand in hand with the nature of the social dynamic that changed us when the pandemic came along. You know, like that's what we did for entertainment for the most part, right? And it's like, I feel
But as far
like
as
now that
storytelling,
I feel like there may have been quite a few shows that we just kind of accepted, even though they sucked.
Yeah.
But we've accepted them. We accepted them because we didn't have any other option really at
look,
that
The
point in
Mandalorian
time.
was good.
No, The Mandalorian was fine. It was more like Disney with Disney Marvel, like with saying like, hey, we got WandaVision, we got all this entire slate of TV shows that's gonna last for years, right? We've got WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. We've got I don't even fucking remember the fucking shows that came after that. But anyway, like, we have all of
Hawkeye?
we have a slate of, yeah, I guess that was a thing.
I did end up liking Hawkeye once I got past the fourth episode.
Hawkeye was fun.
Yeah,
But I think
I was okay with it. It took me forever to get through that shit.
Hawkeye was fun, but it was pointless.
Yeah,
like
They all are.
a lot of the other Disney shows.
But
Like,
dude, it's like comic books. Like, dude, I'm not gonna ask you if you ever read a comic book. Comic books are typically look. You go to the store and you pick up a series. You can pick up a whole graphic novel, right? Mm-hmm. That fucking story you read has like a 15% chance mattering anywhere else.
It's more about the whole, though. It's more about the whole.
That's all I'm saying.
But it's more about the whole.
That lore now is there. If you need a reference at some point, it's in this little book here over there.
Without that story, without that single story in the graphic novel, the rest of it wouldn't make sense. There'd be a huge gap. Even though
in the graphic novel in the series,
in the graphic, yes,
in that graphic novel, yes.
Even though, like,
the universe doesn't give a fuck.
Even though it may feel like a filler book, it actually has some context within the greater story. That is not what Marvel is doing. I know where you're trying to go with this. It is not what Marvel is doing.
I don't know. Look, we're talking about Falcon Winter Soldier. Look, in the context of the MCU universe, Falcon Winter Soldier fits in there. It's a little graphic novel that you can pick up and you can read for some entertainment.
But does Hawkeye fit in there? Does Moon Knight fit in there?
Yes, it does.
Fit in there?
They do.
No, they don't. Not with the specific plan that Marvel had.
Not yet. Well, yeah, never mind. That's the thing, right? Like, I feel like, at some point they would have. I don't know what the fuck's going on now, because they could have. But now we've got RDJ playing Doctor Doom. So we don't know what the fuck's going on.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing either.
But that's got nothing to do with the shows. That's the company scared to lose a nickel.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they should have just stuck with your boy, but they didn't, and now we got Robert Downey Jr. again.
Oh, Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
Before you jumped on, Frank, I was telling Juice I watched Quantumania again recently, and it was the first time since the movies, and all that Kang stuff, man, it feels like they set Jonathan Majors up, man. Remember at the end, and Ant-Man's questioning, it's probably fine, and then they do the flashback, and they go to all the Kangs, and at the end of the movie, or the end of the very last end credit scene, you see Loki and Mobius looking at Kang on the stage, and it's like, Kang will return. And it's like, damn, man, they set Jonathan Majors up, man. They probably should have stuck with him, man. They probably should have. I know it's a panic move, and they're a company, and they have to respond to public pressure, but in hindsight, as far as the fandom goes, they probably should have stuck with him in that storyline. You know,
We're
and
gonna.
I'm on the side of Hawkeye. It didn't matter because it didn't.
No, it didn't
Nothing
matter.
came
Didn't
of it.
matter.
That's what
Nothing
I'm
came
saying.
of
My
it.
argument is that they don't matter, right?
But
But
you're
they
right
fit.
about like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That fits because now you
Yeah,
have a new Falcon movie coming out, a new Captain America movie coming out. You know, so it does fit. But Hawkeye just seemed like a one off. There was nothing that really
it was
came of
absolutely
it.
a one-off. I mean,
Remember,
like
WandaVision was the first one, and we ain't seen shit since then.
I mean,
Well,
Doctor
WandaVision
Strange.
was
Doctor
leading into
Strange
Doctor
happened.
Strange.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I'm thinking about Vision though. What the fuck happened with this?
Well, Vision is
WandaVision
coming
was
out with a
probably
new
the best
show.
show.
Vision is coming out with his own show soon. That's the next show
Oh,
they got
seriously?
coming out. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
it's just called Vision. And
Paul Bettany.
Ultron is supposed to be coming back. James Spader is going to voice Ultron again. So
It's
that's
Okay.
weird, man. Disney is such a hit and miss company because they come out with shows like X-Men '97, which everybody loved, universally loved. You didn't hear one bad thing about that show,
that's
and
true.
then you do this to the Acolyte. It's like, how am I supposed to have faith in you as a
It's
company? Like,
different. It's different properties. It's different properties like that.
true, but
That is 100%, not 100%, but that is mostly dependent on the writers and
so who
production.
do we blame here, Frank? Is it Kathleen Kennedy? Do we blame her for this Acolyte fiasco? I mean,
Kathleen Kennedy has been a kind of an issue in her own right for a while before this was even a thing with
yeah.
Disney, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, like that. She's been an issue just because of how she tried to structure or restructure the universe as it was. So
So it's like
She has a reputation.
interpretation, right? Like
that's
I don't know.
yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what it comes down to. You know,
Yeah, because like,
because it comes down to a single person. Like you have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, right? Like
mhm.
they effectively like rebooted the Star Wars universe with the Mandalorian, a fucking spin-off show that no one thought would be a thing, and
That show was great.
it became a big thing,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
And then
Part of the
now we
lore.
have,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't for that, we would not have the Acolyte. We would not have these other Star Wars shows that followed it. Or we would not have Ahsoka. We would not have any of this because the Mandalorian did so well. And
Mhm.
they were like, we can make money off of this show that we thought nobody was gonna watch. What? You know, so now we have all of these shows, but it's the slippery slope that the Marvel property has also done, where you have Iron Man, and Marvel was hitting it out of the park for a long time, and then they started not hitting it out of the park. But like with Iron Man came, you know, without the Iron Man movie, there wouldn't be no Captain America movie, there would be no Thor movie, there would be no Avengers movie, there would be no Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Spider-Man. Like it all came from one thing, which the corporation itself thought, like, we're going to make money off of this. This is the way now. And all these fucking characters started coming out of the woodwork. All these movies started coming out of the woodwork. With Star Wars was kind of like Star Wars was in a real shit place for a while, with the exception of like Clone Wars and Rebels.
because
Right?
they're scared to
Animated
touch that shit.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Like, you know, like
I was thinking about why that is too, and I think it's because like if you compare Star Wars universe versus the Marvel universe, Marvel universe is still just like a branch of like the whole, all the different verses. Like the Marvel universe is easy to see as a single expression that has no impact elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
But Star Wars is so solidified as far as what's canon and what's not. It's far more solid and far more like
It's more structured.
dependent, yeah, and structurally, yeah, it's way more structured. So like touching anything, they're so scared to touch anything that like
Because they would break
they
that
they
structure.
literally refuse to bring another actor to play Luke,
Mhm.
and it's because
Right.
they're just like they're fucking horrified.
Yeah.
What if the fans don't like this new Luke?
They are
Right?
terrified of it. Yeah. No,
I think that's a
100%
fucking
true.
problem. Like that's
It's
a
also
big problem.
it's also
That's
it's
just what's gonna.
also
Mhm.
No, I was just gonna say real quick. It just also has to do with the fact that like Star Wars is a very old property. Like they started making Star Wars movies in the late 70s, right?
Mhm.
and we're talking like 50 years later now, almost 50 years later. Actually, 50th anniversary will be in 3 years, right? So like 50, almost 50 years of this. And comic books have been around much longer, but like comic movies didn't really hit their stride until 2008 with Iron Man, right? And that's when comic movies started to become the new.
Hey, don't you disrespect
Hollywood
Blade like
era.
that?
I'm not
Sorry,
disrespecting Blade. I'm not
fuck with you.
disrespecting Blade, but like you understand, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
I mean, I
you
will
telling
always
me
look at
that
Blade.
the Bruce Banner TV show with Lou
With
Ferrigno
Lou
wasn't
Ferrigno,
like
oh
a
man,
staple in American culture?
yo,
Like,
anytime I think about that show, I just think of the walking away theme. You know, like when
oh
he has
yeah.
his duffel bag and he's just like dun, 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 dun. So he's just walking away.
Yeah, man. Like,
I keep
yo, it's
thinking
like
about
someone get
that,
this
man.
nigga
I'm like,
right.
man, like he's
See,
just like dun, dun,
I think the
dun,
Hulk show in particular
Yeah.
does count in American culture because
Yo, that was
everybody's heard of it. You know what I mean? That's like
yeah.
saying the Superman movies count for American culture for as far as for comic books. Of course they do. You
They
know,
do.
Yeah, true.
yeah, 100% the Hulk show holds up and it counts.
You know
You
what
know,
doesn't? The
that
Captain
was part of
America
the.
show
Oh,
or the Spider-Man show.
Remember the
Not the
Spider-Man show?
cartoon.
Yeah, remember that
wait,
shit.
which
Not the
Spider-Man show?
cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, the
Which
show, the live
Spider-Man
action. It
show?
was like a 70s Spider-Man show that
The
used to come
thing,
out. I don't
yo,
know
he
how
was
long ago.
climbing up the wall like this
Yeah,
With
yeah,
with
it's like
like
a
the straight
old,
arms and
old
straight
show.
legs.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Even the
That show
Batman
holds up.
show, the Adam West Batman show was.
Oh,
I used to watch
that was
shit
good
when I
though.
no, that holds up. That holds
That
up.
holds,
Yeah, it
yeah,
That
does. It
holds
does. 100%.
yeah. The
That
Spider-Man
holds up.
show.
Batman was out
Yeah,
there
I saw
dancing.
Autumn Jones on Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. That's how I watched it.
I used to watch the shit on TV like during the day when they came on, like in the 80s, man. Like when I was a kid, like when I was like 5, I was watching shit on TV, man. Like it was like, yo, what is this? You know, and all the sound effects and the gadgets like the shark repellent and the shield, and it's fucking crazy.
Man.
But yeah, no, like I think like Star Wars Star Wars movies have been around for almost 50 years, whereas comic book movies have been around for less than 20, right? And comic books are so varied and less structured that it's easy to play with the toys. Right, it's easy to play with the toys, and like if this toy doesn't work, okay, we can move on to another toy that does, or like we can try these other toys.
But I think that's what makes them better though, because it has that flexibility, and whereas Star Wars doesn't have that flexibility, and it's and because of that, the fan base, just like we were talking about the lore of like the fucking what can make a Force baby. Right? Everybody's so fucking stuck on only this way Plagueis did it can make a Force baby because of a novel, which as far as we fucking know is not canon, right? Plagueis novel is not canon, right? So now they had this in the Acolyte and people losing their goddamn minds because there's Force twins now. Like, even though they haven't explained how it happened, but that's the thing. Like, they're so religiously tied to it that the lack of I feel like they need more stories. They need a Mandalorian, right? They need an Ahsoka series. They need the Rebel series. They needed all these side stories. Like, imagine all the stuff we know, all the stuff we got from Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
All those side stories that don't introduce new species and new places, right? Like, this shit was great, and it gave it the show life and breath. But they're too, as long as they remain too scared to do this, and Acolyte is a symptom, right? How they behave with Acolyte is a symptom of this fear, right? That they weren't even willing to touch the lore of the Star Wars universe in a time 200 years before anything of the main universe happened. They're just like, oh shit, Force babies, and
they were forced to connect it. They were forced to connect it somehow to the end all be all, which is like episodes 4, 5, and 6.
And arguably, I'd have been fine if they didn't, right? Because like I've read 2 of the High Republic novels so far, and they're great, and they don't talk shit about them. We fucking
Well,
figured out where Bacta came from. That's the
yeah.
only thing it tied to, right? That we know where that came from now. We know the first time they used it. That's it, right? That's the only thing that ties to the main story time period, and it's great. Like there's so much there,
I mean,
but as
look
Yeah,
at
long as
the
they
I think
the Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is also a great example of that, right? Like the Force Awakens was basically a reboot of Episode 4, right?
yeah,
Like it was very safe. It was a very safe movie. Um,
they suffer
you
for it.
know,
I thought they did well.
JJ Abrams literally made the movie almost shot for shot, a shot for shot reboot, just like a new coat of paint of from A New Hope. Same story beats. You got the orphan that was abandoned on a planet. Turns out that she's gonna become like a great Jedi, even though we all thought our boy Finn was gonna be the Jedi with all the posters and shit. But like she's gonna become a great
It definitely
Jedi,
could have been
and
too.
then like yeah, I mean why the fuck not, right? But you
Racism.
know, black. But like
Look,
it's still like it was a very safe movie, super safe. And then like look at Episode 8, Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, it was a very unsafe movie because The Force Awakens did well enough. The Force Awakens, I think, is still the highest grossing Star Wars film of all time. Um, that movie they caused Disney to get brave, and they were like, let's make Episode 8 and we can like just give it to this director. We keep doing whatever the fuck he wants. And that's why Episode 8 was deemed as such a failure, because it detracted so much from the safety and the structure of what has already been established. And then they tried to salvage with Episode 9. That didn't work out.
they they failed with the character of Luke for Episode 8. All they had to do was nail Luke Skywalker. That's all they had to do, and that would have been probably one of the greatest Star Wars movies we ever saw, because the money was there on the screen. They just didn't execute the story, But I think a lot of this with the Acolyte, it's our fault as fans and as consumers too, because we're so impatient. People are so impatient for the next thing. Like, we're not willing to give these new stories a chance. We don't like it. We see one thing we don't like, I'm out on it. The show sucks. I don't want to watch it. I'm going to word of mouth, like we said. I mean, I'm going to badmouth it to my friends. I'm not going to suggest that they watch it because of this one story beat, So I think a lot of the failures of us not getting a season 2 of the Acolyte in particular is our fault as fans, man, because we can be very impatient sometimes, man. We don't like things and we just don't like it. Now the whole thing sucks.
I don't accept
And
that.
it makes these companies scared to take chances. We don't get the critical acclaim and the viewership. We can't take a chance. We have to be safe,
It's to a point. I think it's to a point with that argument. Like, yeah, I mean, like
You have to sell me the product.
A lot of the fans, yeah, like a lot of the fans are talking shit, but I bet you dollars to donuts. I would say 75%, and that's being generous, but like 75% of these fans have not watched the show or have not watched it all the way through. That badmouth it because they want to badmouth it to fit in with the rest of the crowd. That's badmouthing it and seem cool and getting noticed and or whatever the fuck have you. But like a lot of fans don't have the attention span anymore to watch a full series, nonetheless to watch the whole episode. Yeah. Right? Like I put myself in that category, but I'm not necessarily bad-mouthing the show. But like it's one of those things where what I did see, I thought it was just average, right? But at the same time, you have people who are just like spitting straight venom at this show, and they're just doing it to fit in. And I feel like that's to a point, yeah. But to be honest, what we say as fans doesn't mean shit when it comes to the people who actually make the decisions at the top. When it comes to like,
they should have decided to not spend so much money.
I think maybe I should have
decided to spend less money.
The money is what decides, right? The money is
but
what
they
decides.
made that decision to spend all that money.
Because they want to get more money out of us. That's
so
how it works,
dude. Like that's the thing, though. Like the problem is that they set a bar for themselves that they didn't meet. Right, but they set a ridiculously high bar. Now all they had to do was set a reasonable bar, right? Make a good show, and then people would have came back for it.
Where
Like I don't know what costume would have cost it, saved
just
them a couple $1,000,000, but
think
fucking
about
figure
it.
that shit out.
Think about it marketing wise, especially with a property as big as this. Think about it marketing wise. Where is the money in that? Where's the profit in that? Where's the
The
profit in,
money
in
is
just setting a mediocre bar
my
and
subscription I pay every month.
not where's the money in setting a mediocre bar and not setting and just meeting that bar and setting a mediocre standard for yourself. You say the money is where it comes from us subscribing to the service. Yes, it does. But at the same time, don't you think that if they set that mediocre bar and we pay the streaming service, then the money would talk. The money would talk louder than anything right there, because we see shit like that. And if it's a standard across the board with all of their fucking shows that they have on Disney Plus, then people are going to be like, I don't like Disney Plus. And, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So now we have potentially Star Wars.
If they wanted to really do it, though, they could have just done the
Disney
animated
properties.
and saved the money.
Of course.
Right? So,
That
why didn't they just do that then? All I'm saying is that, if they're worried about the money, then don't blow a budget that's higher than any other Star Wars budget. You spend money within the realms of the other two successful shows you have within that realm, and then you make a good show, and then you don't have to worry about the investment because you've already made it. You're going to definitely make it back when you make a good show.
There's a lot.
You don't overspend what you haven't, to the point you haven't spent before. That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with you. There's a lot to unpack with that, though, because you have to look at, let's say The Mandalorian, right? The Mandalorian set a standard where they shoot TV shows like movies, right? And that requires a lot more money to go into production. But The Mandalorian made them money. In the streaming service sense, it made them money. It got them views. It got them more subscriptions. They made money. So they say, let's just do all of our shows like that and let's go bigger, because if we go bigger, then we'll get bigger back. It's always about the money. It's always about return on investment. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. That's capitalism.
True.
To a T. That's capitalism. It's extremely flawed. But you gotta. It's the old adage. You gotta spend money to make money.
I agree with that. That makes sense. But when you spend too much money to make a product
and expect more back, sometimes depending on, and that's where
that's a gamble. Quality. That's not investment. That's gambling.
That is, of course, 100%. But look at their track record, and that's why I say there's a lot to unpack here. Look at their track record, right? You have fucking the Marvel movies, and I know it's a different property, but let's just take them for example. For a while, Marvel movies, every single one was making over $1 billion. Every single one for a few years. They at their highest point would invest a quarter of that, and they would get back 300% of what they spent on the movie. So they've got the money. They've got the money to try to make these mistakes, but they've got the money to try to go bigger because they feel like it's just dollar signs in the eyes, right? They go bigger, they get bigger back. And that's been their whole fucking philosophy this entire time. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out.
It doesn't work. So when it doesn't work, we're like, what the fuck?
When it doesn't work, yeah, and
why
you're
y'all
right.
bitching? It doesn't work. Stop doing it.
And I agree with what you just said. I agree with what you just said, because when it doesn't work, we suffer. Because we have shows and movies and whatever that come out, and then for some reason we never see the characters again. They don't make more movies. They cancel the TV shows, and now we're left kind of like, what the fuck? But they're saying like, hey, look at this new shiny thing over here. We've got Vision coming out in a couple of months. So look forward to Vision. You're going to see nothing but marketing for that show. Forget about the Acolyte. Forget about the Star Wars properties. Let's concentrate on this new shiny thing over here.
Hey,
And you know what?
Which is crazy.
Most people
Talking about-
would.
I haven't even heard about it.
Look, the marketing for Vision, right? I remember the marketing for the Acolyte. I mean, they were hyping that show up like it was just going to be the next
because it was
best
a
thing,
shiny
and
new thing.
It was a shiny new thing, and like a season later, you canceled the shit. You know what I mean? So I kind of don't have faith in Vision now. Like, what if Vision doesn't perform up to your standards? Are you going to cancel that? You know, I think this was a bad move. It was a bad.
They
bad
killed
public relations
They
move. With
killed
Marvel
Wanda in the start,
you know,
in the movie with Doctor Strange. Like, so there's no more WandaVision. That was one season.
Well,
there's no more development.
Well, this Vision,
and plus
this Vision is the white the white Vision.
We always reference back to Marvel in their glory years, but that was like when they were grossing $1 billion. Because you're right, Brian. They were on top. They were king for years. But I mean, I think us as fans, we have to move on. I know it's hard for me to let go too, but those movies were so long ago, you know. And when I say the Marvel time, I'm talking about up to Endgame. Like everything after that was so disjointed. It's hard to, and you know, that's actually when Disney Plus came out right at the end of Endgame, kind of, right? Was it did Eternals and all that stuff start coming out before that? But it feels like the whole
around the same time.
It feels like the stories were being continued on Disney Plus, not in the movie theater anymore. And the movies that they were coming out with weren't connecting all the way until we got up to Kang
because of that pandemic.
You know, right? And it feels like Disney's reacting to a lot of what's happening. I think they do listen to the fans. I think they totally do. I mean, if the fans seem like they're not receiving a show well, the Acolyte, they'll cancel it. You know, if the fans,
you just said the Acolyte had good numbers,
which is crazy. You would think it was a success, right? 9.3 million average viewers per episode. I mean, sounds
but
pretty
it's not
successful.
enough to meet their next highest goal.
So why would I have faith
that goalpost, like you said, was keep moving.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So ain't no winning.
But when Marvel was in their glory years and they were grossing $1 billion, I miss. God damn it, man! You know, we didn't know how spoiled we were back then. Man. We just didn't.
Let's talk lore. This is depressing.
This is depressing. Yeah. Fuck, man. Jesus.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk. No, that's more Marvel shit. But I guess we could talk about the Daredevil leak.
Right,
yeah.
Yo, where did that come from?
Sync it up.
So that was at D23 that happened like about a month ago. And
can I play that?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. But yeah, like so at D23 you're not allowed to bring your phones into the room, but somebody snuck their phone in there. That's why.
They were filming. The guy filming was filming the guy film.
Yeah. They were filming. They were filming.
That rule didn't work.
Yeah. So it was like. So yeah, at D23 they show exclusive shit like that like we don't get to see for like months, right? And they showed like a trailer for the Thunderbolts. They show a trailer.
Oh shit!
For Daredevil Born Again. They showed a trailer for the trailer for Captain America that we eventually got a few weeks later, over there. So like they showed mad shit, and then they have like the actors come out and talk about the movies or whatever. And yeah, but you're not allowed to film that, but somebody did, and then it got leaked all over. So we're gonna see the same trailer. It's probably gonna just be re-edited a little bit and in HD. So
yeah,
man, I couldn't be less excited for a movie than that Captain America movie, man. Like I feel like it's gonna be a one-off too. Which is crazy. Like the character.
It is.
It's a shame.
I'm shocked that he has stuck around and been so relevant for so long.
It's a shame because Cap movies were the fucking gold standard for a while, man. Like
Sam Wilson as a character just seemed like he was just going to hang the Cap's coattails, and wherever Cap went, it was. And he has managed to become. He's been in his own show. He had his own show. He's getting his own movie. He's the new Captain America. I'm like, well, goddamn, like Sam Wilson is becoming a mainstay of Marvel.
He kind of had half a show. He shared it with Winter Soldier.
That was more his show than the Winter Soldier show. You know,
it
I felt
Yeah,
like they nerfed Winter Soldier in there. Winter Soldier should have been a lot more badass in that show.
I feel like they nerfed Winter Soldier in general, dude. Like, did you
Yeah.
see in Thunderbolts that he's basically like a political figure now? Like, he's not going to be active in the Thunderbolts. He's just going to be like, he's going to be like the Thunderbolt Ross for the Avengers. He's just going to advise them, and I'm like, God damn it! What did they do to my boy Winter Soldier?
Maybe Sam Wilson will be in there too.
Nah, not in the Thunderbolts. No. Nah. Well, I don't know. Maybe they might cameo him or something, but nah, not in the Thunderbolts.
I'm seriously going to see
if it's gonna run.
The Thunderbolts got a squad though. Like, I'm excited to see just based on the squad they got, but like, I just hope they're able to pull off the team aspect.
Yeah. And you're right, man. Marvel, as far as that side for Disney, is definitely a lot more flexible, man, because, you know, they just have so many verses. There's so many things that you can do with Marvel that you can't do with Star Wars, you know. Does make it a little bit better. I mean, that Kang scene at the end of Quantumania, I'm just like, man, look at the possibilities. I was watching Wanda, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness again, and even the scene where Charles Xavier comes back and, you know, Captain Carter is there, and you're like, man, just the possibilities. They can pretty much sell us anything in the Marvel space, and we'll buy it. You know, we'll accept it. You know what would be crazy? Is a crazy thought. Is what if the new Captain America movie is like it's top tier Marvel. What if it's like one of the best Marvel movies?
I sure hope so, because
shock the hell out of you.
It does not look to be top tier Marvel.
I'm with you, Frank. That shit does not.
That shit looks mad ordinary and unbelievable in certain ways.
Why y'all hating so hard? Jesus.
Not hating.
Well, you know, he doesn't have any serum, so.
But just look at him.
Yeah.
Just look at him.
I don't know. I can't get the sound to work. I don't know why it's not working.
We can hope.
Check your volume settings on your PC. See if the sound's active on for your volume mixer.
Yeah, that might be.
Hey man, we can hope
because I don't have my. Let me see. Like set this shit up. All right, let's turn on.
So something has to happen in that movie, because like, how's he going to take out Red Hulk? You know, like something has. Like, where's he going to get the help from?
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude, all's going to happen is his homegirl, goddamn Miss Marvel, going to fly in and take him out. What the fuck y'all talking about? What are we talking about?
Ms.
Like,
Marvel?
are we not aware? Yes.
Sam can't do anything to him. So
I mean, Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Sorry, Captain Marvel. Yeah, she's gonna slide in that Jones. She's gonna check him the chin. Like, what are we talking about? This is the Avengers. Like, this is like Captain America. He rolled with, look, regular Cap's not fighting Red Hulk.
That's Steve Rogers, dude.
I don't give a fuck. He's not.
Steve Rogers.
He's not squaring. Steve Rogers is not squaring with the Hulk, son. No, ain't gonna happen. It hasn't, and it won't.
He's not squaring with the Hulk, but he will have a better chance of squaring with the Hulk than a regular ass human.
What's the matter?
With a Star Spangled outfit and wings and a shield that he can't even. He should not even.
Hey, guess who's faster?
Handle.
Guess who's faster?
Steve.
False, son. We already talked about that, Joe.
Steve is faster.
Steve cannot run as fast as he can fly.
No, he can't.
Right?
He can't.
Okay, all right. So we agree. What are we talking about? Are you doing this again? Are we doing this again?
Wait. Yeah, we are doing this again.
We're not doing this again.
We're not doing this again. Falcon should not be able to break the fucking sound barrier and make it there alive.
Dude, look, in Marvel's, fucking Spectrum got launched through a portal to another dimension. What are we talking about?
Spectrum has powers.
Portal, another dimension.
She has power.
Teleportation.
She has power.
Shit ain't real. We're not applying the laws of our physics.
So you think that Sam Wilson breaking the sound barrier with no protection on his head is realistic?
He got this. I don't know how he did it.
Hey, he show up his ears be bleeding and shit. Yeah, he got fucking blood.
Maybe. I don't know what we talking about. What are we?
He would show up with no skin.
What are we talking
about? With no skin. His skin should be flayed off. Just
Dude,
done.
what if his suit is magically imbued by magic?
Magically?
You're right.
Whoa,
Yeah.
magically. Let's take that
Wanda
word out
could
of
have.
the conversation.
Well, hey, he's
could've been
fighting a
magically.
Red Hulk, so
I don't
I
think
mean,
he's
hey,
gonna. I don't think he's gonna.
Wakanda
like,
still
look, we
around.
talk
He could have
about
some like
fantasy, guys.
vibranium
I don't think.
infused.
I don't think he's gonna fight Red Hulk at all. Actually, I think it's just that.
I don't think so either. Yeah, he can't. He can't fight Red Hulk.
I don't think he's gonna fight Red Hulk at all. I
So
think
the
he can shoot
initial,
some
so the
missiles at him
initial
and,
group.
I think
distract
So
him a
y'all
little bit.
just hating
I think
because
they're gonna be boys. I think they're
No,
gonna be boys.
he can shoot some missiles at Red Hulk and distract him a little, fly around him, keep him occupied while the better hero comes in and does
it's a
something.
team effort.
Yeah. He'll
Yeah,
just be
straight
the
up.
distraction.
Hey, guess what?
And they got to save Red Hulk for the Thunder.
Hey,
anyway.
guess what? When Cap throws a shield at Hulk face, it's just a distraction.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Cap can't do anything to him, but he would have a better. I mean, like he would have a better shot.
What's better mean?
Like if I sent Sam Wilson out there, hey, go
so
distract Red Hulk, or if I sent
So,
Steve
all right,
Rogers
so
out there,
if Hulk
Super Soldier
if Hulk if
Super
Hulk
Soldier
punches,
serum. That's
if
why.
Hulk
That's how
punches
his
full
better-
strength,
you're right, 100%. It wouldn't matter.
if
The
Hulk
serum wouldn't matter.
punches Steve Rogers full strength, what happens?
If
Well,
the
it
Hulk
wouldn't
punches-
matter. But hey,
Then he gets crushed, don't he?
you think Sam Wilson
get
is going to
crushed?
go toe to toe with Thanos? You know what I mean? Like at least Steve with the super serum
And
kind of held
Thor's
his own
hammer.
against Thanos.
Look, if
He kind of has Thor's
And
hammer.
Thor's
if
hammer.
Hulk- if
And
Hulk-
Thor's
you know.
hammer, right?
If Hulk
Yeah,
gets
but I'm saying the
punched-
punishment that he was taking, Sam Wilson would have been obliterated in one hit. We know Sam is not going to fight Red Hulk. We know it because he can't. But neither can Steve.
Steve
right? To your
can.
point, neither can Steve.
Why you gotta say it like that?
But if I had to
Steve
send
He
one
can't
of
do
the
it.
two out to
Nigga, Steve
distract
can't do it
Red Hulk,
either.
Steve
If I-
will still stand a better chance.
he would stand a better
What's the
chance.
better chance?
There were things that he could
He
do
has the
that
Super Soldier
Sam
serum.
can't do.
He has.
What
their
is a
ability-
better chance to the Hulk?
He has a better chance of surviving that battle. If that battle were to ever happen for Steve versus the Hulk versus Sam versus the Hulk, Steve has a better chance of surviving that battle.
Because he's got to get the fuck up out of there.
No.
At least Sam could fly away. Sam could fly away.
No.
Forced to fight.
So you're saying he can beat the Hulk?
No.
What do you mean survive the? What do you mean survive the fight?
Survive the fight?
You got to get the fuck away, right?
Okay. Simple.
Sing him a lullaby.
Sam is
All right.
faster. He can get away faster.
This is real. Okay, this is real simple.
Huh?
Steve can take a hit from the Hulk. Sam cannot
okay.
take a hit from the Hulk. Full
He got
stop.
shield.
And you think that's going to
Sam
save
does have a
Sam's
shield.
human bones?
Sam does have a shield.
Huh?
You think that's going to save Sam's human bones?
Look, all he got to do is take the hit and roll with it.
Oh my god! Oh my
It's good.
god!
It's good.
Take
Look,
the hit
look,
and
look,
before
look.
he
No.
impacts
But
anything. throw him the back.
also, what happens? What happens when Steve takes a hit from the Hulk? That bitch better be a glancing blow, motherfucker. Because if it's a real hit, that nigga gonna be in the corner like this.
If it's a real hit, okay. So if let's say both Steve and Sam took the same exact hit from the Hulk,
Uh-huh.
right? Let's say they block it with the shield too. Sure, let's throw that in there. The shield absorbs a lot of the hit, but a lot of the Hulk's force can get through that. And let's also be mindful that Red Hulk is not as strong as Green Hulk, not even close.
Mhm.
Okay, Red Hulk hits Sam and Steve in the same scenario, right? Just
Full power.
full power, same scenario, blocks with the shield, but the force goes through. What do you think would happen to Steve, and what do you think would happen to Sam
I think Sam would definitely be fucked.
and Steve?
He would probably be fucked too. He would
No.
probably be fucked.
He'd be fucked, but he'd be less fucked than Sam.
He'd be less fucked. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what
That's
Guess
I'm saying.
what, though?
part is the super serum. That's what the
Don't
super
tell me
serum.
to say
That's the super
lower.
serum. The less fucked.
Yeah,
So they both fucked.
Is where the
They
super
both
serum
fucked.
fucked right in there.
But Steve is less fucked.
A little better unfucked. Slightly unfucked.
Steve is less fucked.
Less fucked and unfucked. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Slightly less unfucked. Okay.
Steve is less fucked. Sam
Agreed.
is dead. Steve is less fucked. Sam is dead.
Whoa.
Sam
Then
is
Steve is dead
or
too.
He's broken. No, Steve is not dead. Steve can survive.
Why isn't Steve dead? Well, we talking about
Steve can
protagonist
survive
power?
that
No.
force.
Now we talking about protagonist power, right?
No, we're talking about
If
the difference
Steve
between
died-
a human and a super soldier.
And Sam died, Steve died.
No,
Dude,
Steve is
who's
a
the main
super
character
soldier.
here?
Steve is a super soldier.
Plot armor here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
Dude, we're
guess we're
talking
just
about
gonna
main
have to see this
characters.
movie.
Nigga's not dying. Like, he's not dying. That's why they got to get the fuck away. Because you're not going to beat him.
You know, one of my hopes for this new
I
Captain
know,
America
dude.
movie is that it finally puts
I'm
to
sorry.
rest
I'm
this
done. I'm
debate
done. I'm fucking around.
on if Steve and Sam, if Sam deserves the mantle. I hope it puts this to rest. We need to see Sam do something that only Sam can do without super soldier serum that proves to people like me and Frank that he is worthy of the mantle of Captain America. Because
That's fucked
the
up.
detriment of not having the super serum is just
It's
too
fucked up.
much
He's
for
already
people to
worthy.
take.
He's got it.
In his fucking hubris,
That's
he's like,
fucked up. He's already got it.
I
Why
don't
you gotta
want
prove
the
it, y'all?
serum.
He's
See
got
that?
the heart.
That's
He
that
just doesn't
bullshit.
have the body.
I got heart. I got heart.
He
I
got
don't want
heart,
the serum. And I'm like, fuck, dude.
Hey, every hero's got to start with heart, man. You know what I'm saying?
True that. True.
That's the
I'm definitely
baseline.
going to see this new movie. I'm definitely going to see it. I can't wait. When does it come out? I don't even remember.
February.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it.
Valentine's Day.
Just not expecting much.
What they need to do is get rid of that nigga and replace him with Isaiah Bradley. Get rid of him and replace him with Isaiah Bradley.
Frank hates Sam Wilson.
I don't
though.
hate
Yeah,
Sam.
Jesus.
I
Look,
don't hate
Isaiah
Sam.
Bradley is not Cap. Like, Isaiah Bradley didn't inherit the shield. Like, he didn't. He's not
Excuse
Cap. He's never been Cap.
What?
Isaiah Bradley has never been Captain America.
What?
All right, maybe I might be wrong.
You are
But
wrong.
here, he did not inherit the shield, and Steve Rogers did not give him the shield. So he's not Captain America.
Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America.
Yeah, I guess.
That's complicated.
Are you talking about comic books or are you talking about in the show?
Comics.
In the show too.
Yeah.
Because like he kind of like wasn't acknowledged.
No, he wasn't acknowledged, and it wasn't a fucked up way, but he was the first Captain America, and Steve acknowledges this.
Yeah. But like,
which is still bullshit. He was just hanging around during all the Endgame shit and
it's
all
still
this.
different.
Isaiah Bradley?
Isaiah Bradley, he could have helped.
Well, his story.
No, he was like, "Fuck these niggas." You saw that nigga.
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck these niggas. I'll handle this shit if it come down."
If you know his story, he is not a happy camper about what they did to him. So he's like, yeah, fuck all of y'all. I'm never gonna do this again. Like I'm never gonna.
He doesn't embody the ideals of Captain America,
of the government. That's what he doesn't. What he isn't. That's not who he's. That's what he doesn't idealize.
Well, Sam definitely has the heart, and he embodies the ideals. He just doesn't have the serum. That's the only detriment. But I hope this movie puts that to rest, man. I hope he does something that amazes us and just lets us accept him as Captain America. You know.
Look,
and I pray to God that
you don't gotta accept him. All right,
get rid of him.
He is Captain America.
That Marvel plants the seeds for upcoming
John Doe into being Captain America. He was just because he was standing closer to Steve. Steve's like,
what, then Bucky?
Old. Like, I'm so old. Who's the first person that's, hey, Sam, Bucky standing behind this nigga. And Steve is like,
yo,
hey,
see, that's that hate right there, son. That's that hate, son. Like, Jesus Christ. Come on, man.
Is that Bucky? Oh, no, it's the black one. Okay, yeah, come on, man.
Fuck it.
Why the fuck not?
Whoever's closest.
Well, Bucky was a criminal. Anyway. At the end of the day, Bucky was a criminal, you know. So, which is why I was so disappointed in Cap in Civil War for defending him. Like, for someone who embodies the ideals of justice and all that, like for him to defend a criminal. I mean, yes, that's your friend, but he's a criminal, my guy. You know, he might have been brainwashed and all that, but you know, take him to court, follow the due process. Sam was completely fit to wield the shield. He just, you know, he deserved the shield. He just
completely fit.
Can't use it. That's all. You know,
completely fit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Sam earned that shield. He did.
Hey,
yo, Frank hates Sam. What does Sam do to you, Frank?
I know, man. Like, Jesus. All right, this is getting vitriolic, man. God
damn. Hey, Sam.
Look, Sam didn't choose this.
Yeah, right. Hey, the shield chose him.
You're right. You know? A fucking senile old ass super soldier chose this.
He was senile, yeah. By that time,
hey, like, hey, gets a super soldier serum didn't stop that mistake.
Sam, is that you, nigga? oh shit. Here, take this shield.
Yeah, here, I don't even want
So
this,
you're
man.
gonna
Take that.
die anyway.
What do you want me to do with this, Cap? I
It's
don't
not
know.
even, hey, it's not even my shield. You think I'll even give you my fucking shield? And I'm not giving you
The
my
actual shield?
Here's another shield. I got that shield up in my living room with Peggy.
That
Yeah.
shit is
Well,
fucking
I hope I'm
still I'm
wrong.
concerned about. Like
Yeah.
when's the other shield gonna pop back up? And how did he get this shield? And why is that shield from the other universe? Because this nigga didn't fucking drop back in time. This nigga dropped to another universe, pulled another fucking shield, and then brought that shit over. So that's gonna be a whole nother motherfucker problem. Whole nother problem. I know I'm cursing.
Maybe the original shield somehow finds its way to Isaiah Bradley in a new movie.
Nah,
It's gonna
Isaiah Bradley's shield. Isaiah Bradley's shield is actually the like the crown triangle shield. It's that
A
shield.
weird one that can't be thrown. Yeah.
Right. Like it's similar to the one that
You kind of gotta throw it like a
Infinity War.
paper plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes like this. But yeah, I don't know. I can't get the fucking sound to play on that joint, man. I'll suck at StreamYard.
Did y'all both watch it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yo, it looks fucking tight. Like,
it looks good, man.
It looks fucking. It looks like days of old, and I'm glad to see that. Like, it looks
like that's how we needed that joint, right? It looks dark and gritty, just like the show.
And y'all know the storyline, so like it's fucking shit's gonna get real, you know. Like with
and
that,
I was
like
just
with
about
the
to say
end
that
part.
too, Juice. Like the show was dark and gritty, you know.
Yeah,
I like the way they did the show. Yeah, it was like down to earth. I don't know, just a gritty, rugged kind of superhero show, you know.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just share my screen so you can see.
I wonder if they're gonna go there with the Karen angle though, like with the drugs.
Who is this nigga? Is that who I think that is?
Is that the new design for Bullseye?
That doesn't look like Bullseye character.
Who do you
Those
think?
look like fangs. Those look like white fangs.
Oh,
it reminds me of Black Panther's helmet.
That's what I'm thinking. Cole?
Killmonger? No.
What's that dude's name? Something Cole. He was like Black Panther stand-in for a while in New York.
Oh,
or remember the white wolf guy?
White Wolf. White Wolf was Winter Soldier. So
White Wolf was Winter Soldier. No, there was another guy. White Wolf was Winter Soldier, but T'Challa's half brother, the white guy.
Oh shit.
White Tiger, some shit.
See, it's white something.
White boy. No, that's not it.
White man. It is I, white man.
White the white fox. Okay, all right. I mean, no, there was a dude. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. I just don't remember the name.
It's fucking his half brother. Fuck. Because I knew they was gonna bring this. I feel like they was waiting for a way to bring this white dude into the fucking Wakanda scene. They're like, "Oh, my brother, I forgot about you."
I don't remember the fucking name.
Had his white brother. I forgot I had a white brother.
I forgot I had a white brother. Damn.
Forgot about this dude. All right. Let me fucking just Google that shit.
I'm anxious for something, man. And you know, earlier in the cast, I said that we had to move on from the old, you know, post Endgame, you know, or pre-Endgame movies and the run that Marvel had. But deep down inside, I don't want to move on. You know, I want to go back.
Yeah,
I hope
I
hope shows like Daredevil and movies like Captain America bring us back to that. You know, it seems so simple. Like wash, rinse, repeat, and I think they started with Kang.
White Wolf.
They had a great foundation there. They did, man.
It is the white. It is the White Wolf in the MCU though. The White Wolf is Winter Soldier. but maybe this
I didn't feel like it was
guy
that
is
tight.
a white wolf.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
there's also
like,
the White Tiger in New York. It's the martial artist dude.
oh yeah. Well, to your point, D, wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat works only to a certain extent, right? Like, you know, they don't want to do that too much, and then people will get bored, and then the money would dictate that, you know, they need to try something new.
Well, wash, rinse,
Or
repeat
different.
in the sense of the idea of wash, rinse, repeat, not necessarily in wash, rinse, repeat. Like, so
Practice.
you don't need to come out with the same story beats over and over, but set up a big bad, come out with movies that establish characters around this big bad in the background, the same way they did with Thanos. And they started it with Kang. Do it again. I mean, like,
they are doing it again. We got Doctor Doom.
they're
I mean,
trying.
that's
They're
gonna go
trying.
well.
They're not giving us
That'll go up.
follow ups. They're not giving us follow ups to movies and shows that they have came out with before. You know, even though it's a different property, like we said, they're canceling shows like The Acolyte. You know, what if Daredevil doesn't do well? Are they gonna? My faith in Disney is shaken. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And like,
I blame Iger.
I want them to bring us back into those old days of having faith in them and telling these stories and people coming out satisfied, you know, whether it be in streaming or the movie theaters or, you know, it seems so simple. Come out with your big bad. They had a great foundation there with Kang, man. Like that last scene of him in the arena with all the Kangs, and you're like, man, they can go so many multiple directions from this. And it all fell apart, you know. It wasn't their fault. It was Jonathan Major's fault, but, you know, watch, rinse, repeat in that aspect. Because most of the fans, we're easy to please. We're easy to please. Tell smart stories. Give us some good
I
action.
disagree.
I think we are. I think entertainment value wise, we're easy to please, right? Like we might not agree with the story beat, but if we like the action, then it was good. You know, the Acolyte had that one episode where you stopped at, Frank. That just beast episode with Darth Teeth. And up to that episode, it was borderline. You were kind of bored. Were you not a little bored with those first 4
I
episodes?
liked episode 1 and 2. 3 was boring.
I thought 1 was very
whatever
good.
the flashback episode was boring to me. Like I'm with you, but I liked 1 and I liked 2.
Fine. I thought 1 was fine because of the setup and because of like killing these Jedi, the questions, the whodunit aspect, right? Like, and then after that, it kind of just trailed off. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're
2
right.
was
Everybody
like we
likes
saw a
different
new
things,
planet, and they were just I don't know.
People are gonna hate on whatever they want to hate on. You know, some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. But I think for the most part, we're easy because we're all comic book fans, right? Like we want smart stories, we want good action, right? And I think these companies mess themselves up by inserting politics into the entertainment sphere. Like we don't want to be bothered with identity politics in entertainment. You know, it's a bad mix.
We don't want to be bothered with black folks.
It's just a bad mix. We just want to tell it. You don't have to give us politics and entertainment. Just tell a smart story, a good story, distract us for 2 hours, and then we can all go home happy. They did that repeatedly early on in Marvel. You know, the post-Endgame, pre-Endgame days. You know, and it seems like after that, they can't help themselves. But and I didn't think the Acolyte had a lot of politics in it. I don't think there was a lot of. I know they had some. Was there some gay characters?
Look, the thing is. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like haters put politics into it. Look, because there were lesbians in it, doesn't make it political.
Right.
It makes it political if you hate lesbians. Right. That's what it becomes political. Like that's a personal problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope Daredevil brings us back.
Let's think about it though, because like you said, like I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to think of like the early movies from Marvel, and you had Iron Man, you had Captain America. Who else was there? Thor,
and then Avengers.
What else? And then the Avengers.
And,
so that's
you're right.
definitely a bunch of white guys.
Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was in there too. Phase 1.
Bunch of white guys.
Yeah.
White male leads.
And Phase
People
1
love that shit.
And Phase 1 was
as soon as you throw in a person of color, gotta be a sidekick. As soon as you throw in a woman as a lead. Hate. Oh, the story's not as good because fucking Iron Man 1 was that good, right? Because it was that good.
Well, I mean,
Because
like, think about it. The first female-led movie that we got in the MCU was Black Widow,
yeah,
and
which is
Black
crazy because
Widow
it came out so
was
long after everything.
Black Widow was fine, I guess, but Black Widow wasn't like it wasn't cinema, right?
it should have
So
came in. They should have fucking started that shit earlier. That's
they
just
should
all
they
that
should have
was.
should have came in before she died.
Yeah,
Like
definitely. That's kind of
would
a
have killed her off.
And
pivotal
I
point.
don't think. Okay, this I might be speaking for myself instead of the whole community, but I don't think women led shows and movies are as bad if the woman if the character is kick ass, right? Like X-23 from Logan was kick ass. I would love to
She
see an
wasn't the lead.
X-23, but I would love to see her in a lead movie. Black
Wasn't like
Widow.
an
'Cause
adult
I
version of
think the
her.
problem with Black Widow's movie is it came out at the wrong time. That should have came out earlier on around Iron Man 3 or uh, her movie wasn't terrible and she was a core character. I think a lot of people would have cared about her.
I
I think
think
where it starts to be a problem with the women-led characters is when you insert the politics into it, right? Like, when you try to show like
Look,
like the Mary Sue
them
kind of
being women is the politics.
Yeah, you
Like
unfortunately,
might
here,
be
for
right.
a
I
black
don't
lead
want to.
character,
us
the
being
black
black,
guy
us
is
being
the
black is the
politics. His
politics.
existence
You
is
might
the
be.
politics.
Yeah,
But I
Jonathan
it's
hate that
Majors
though.
is the politics. It's because America's racist.
it's
I
unfortunate.
hate
Par for the course. So we got to push the ticket because look, anybody who says like no, just let it be natural, let him just do what makes him happy. Now, fuck that joke. We need representation, right? Like it's got to be there. Like when they start talking about removing DEI or they talking about we have to push a DEI, whatever. Like it needs to be in there, right? And if DEI is the way you make it happen, because apparently that's the only way it can work. Because otherwise, you have people who just gonna hate for the hate sake.
Yep.
And on the other end of that, I'm a firm, and I've said this many times, right? Like just in passing and on the show and just talking to people, right? Like, but like on the other end of that, I'm a firm believer in having the right people for the job,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
So the whole wokeness and DEI is more like I see it as more of an agenda, like boxes that need to be checked, that Disney is following, and then unfortunately, there are times where they check those boxes, the representation is shown, but the property itself isn't good, right? And that just brings us even further back. Like that just brings us even more steps backwards, right? Like an
I don't
example I
know.
can
I
think
don't
of.
know if you can if you can actually pull those two things separately. I
How do you
mean,
mean?
what I mean to say is that like, because people, a lot of this is always going to be subjective,
Mhm.
right? And so when you start talking about like, oh, we need the best person for the job, typically the people who are selected for these roles, like we know the process for the actors, the actresses, the people who work on the staff, like these are people at the top who are selected, right?
Mhm.
Like they're selected because they have done good in the past,
Mhm.
right? Like if you're talking about like somebody's cousin or somebody's nephew, I'm with you. Like that's fucking crazy. Don't just hire somebody's nephew, right? But
Mhm.
like I feel like the people who are in the roles that, especially for a big production like this, are the ones that pass the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like when they start talking about like, yeah, no, I think that it's you have to have the best person for the job. We're not gonna be able to get Denzel, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
We're not gonna get the ones that are accepted. You gotta
But
get sometimes you gotta get a new face,
but
right?
who's
Sometimes Mahershala Ali is out there playing Blade, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, but they got fucking issues. I don't know what that shit's about.
Yeah, what
That's
is
why I'm
that?
just like
that's
he's
not on
top
him.
tier,
Yeah.
huh?
Why the fuck is it
No,
taking
that's
so
I
long
don't
for them to
know.
it's not
play
on
I feel
him.
like it might be on him.
No, I don't think it's on him at all. I mean, as far as
I heard,
what I can tell, I don't think it's on him at all. I think it's like honestly, it's the fucking agenda shit, right? Like, they wanted to completely change the script around so that he wasn't even going to be the main character anymore. His daughter was going to be the main character. And he was going to be a third-tier character in his own movie called Blade. And then on top of that, like,
Yeah, that's stupid. Why would they do that?
yeah. Yeah.
Especially when the big
So
draw
that's
of
writing,
the entire
right?
movie is Blade.
That's right. That's writing, and then it also comes from like production. Like it comes from fucking like Kevin Feige greenlighting that shit, greenlighting that idea, and saying like that's a great idea, make it happen, and then people have to write to that. Excuse me, because that's where the money comes from, right? So it's like.
So again, like that's not on the people, right? Like that's not on the.
To your point, so the subjectivity, yes, it will always be subjective, but whose bar? There is a bar. So whose bar is it that
has to be passed?
That has to be passed. It's Disney's. Because they're the ones that make the decisions, right? They're the ones that cast these people. They have the casting directors under Disney that cast these people. They're the ones that are in on the audition processes. They're the ones that hire the crew, right? Like it's their bar, and that ties back to their agenda. So maybe because they're selected by them, maybe. It's not saying that the people that they've selected are not really good or the best at what they do, but I'm talking about specifically for the show, movie, whatever it is. Are they really the best person for the job? I'm not saying that they're not talented, but are they the best person to portray this specific character in this specific property, this specific project?
Again, you can't know. Like it's subjective. Because I feel like Osha and the actors who play Osha and May in the Acolyte, I feel like she did a good job portraying those characters, right? But I heard somebody recently, a channel I follow.
You're talking about Amanda Stenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody recently saying that Hayden Christensen was a supreme actor. And from a channel I follow, like on.
What does that mean?
As Anakin, that his performance as Anakin was top tier
in the Acolyte.
No, in the other movies, right? In the other Star Wars movies, I think it was the episode.
Nah, he needed work
when he went dark. Like when he was fighting Kenobi, he was like that shit was top tier, and I was just like,
and he needed work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's subjective, son. It's subjective. Like it's absolutely subjective. So if you don't like the material, you're gonna hate the actress or actor, right? If you don't like the content, you're gonna find you're gonna justify it. That's how this shit works. Like, so
Hayden Christensen. The only other movie I can remember him from is what? Jumper. Hayden Christensen. Jumper was actually pretty good.
I did like Jumper.
Yeah.
Jumper
was
really
he in
good,
anything
actually.
else?
No.
Hayden Christensen. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Hey, you know why? Because he got so much hate, he had to fucking go hide.
That's true. Same thing with Jar Jar. He had to go away and hide for a while.
I didn't even know that was it. I thought the whole thing was CGI the entire time. So I don't know how anybody even knew who he was. That seems like they went and seeked this dude out to hate him, which makes that shit racist. Because that nigga was a CGI motherfucking character the entire time. How do you hate on somebody whose face you don't see?
Right.
Well, they do it all the fucking time in Marvel.
Yes, they do. They do.
Gamora.
They do that. You know what we're talking about.
I do think there is a certain
they do that, don't they?
That does exist. And like you said, you being black or you being a woman is the politics. There is a certain toxicity that comes from certain fans that they just won't be pleased unless it's
unfortunate.
The character fits their mold of what a character, especially a main character, should be.
I could name the toxicities. It's fucking misogynism and racism. Sorry, I just like to be specific.
Remember when everybody saw Finn holding that lightsaber? I remember specifically people saying they didn't want this guy to be a Jedi because
they didn't want this nigga to be.
They said there was backlash to that I remember that shit.
There's also homophobia and transphobia now too.
True.
Yeah.
There's that.
True. Like, I remember, like, so here, there's a whole aspect of the show Acolyte. I don't know why I keep on that aspect, but anyway, like, it's about the witches, the Brindok witches, right?
Mhm.
And so they were all female, right? And they're the heads were lovers, and I don't know why the fuck they hated these witches. These witches. I said witches. I said these witches so much.
You said
right?
bitches.
I did
You
not.
said bitches.
I said witches.
I was going with you.
I'm about to say that.
I was rolling
That
with
was a slip up. I meant to say witches.
On videotape.
I meant to say witches. I'm drinking. My throat's
I was
dry.
gonna roll.
Anyway.
I was gonna roll.
I don't know how that affects your bees, but okay.
You know what? You know why
So
people
these-
hated on
oh,
those
Bees
slurring.
don't come from your throat. Bees come from your lips.
These bitches.
There's a specific reason that they hated on those witches, man. Those bitches, those witches. Is because
Them
of the
witches
chant.
got hated on.
Remember the chant scene when they were chanting "Great is the Force" or whatever? I think that was really corny, and I think it made people hate them. You know, like they just weren't out on that scene.
Well, which is
after
supposed
that.
to chant. I guess
Yeah,
it'd
but
been cool if it was in
the
some other
chant itself was
language.
corny. It was corny. It was a corny chant, and it just I don't know. It didn't scream maturity. It's like who's the chant person that comes up with the chants and scripts? You know, like whoever came up with that chant, they failed. The Acolyte. You know what I mean? Like they should have. They could have came up with something better than that, man. I don't even remember how the
I don't
chant
remember.
went,
I honestly don't remember.
but it was
But,
corny. It was
yeah.
just nothing memorable. You shouldn't remember, but you know.
It definitely would
I
have
don't
been
know.
cooler probably if it was in a different language or like
Hey,
made
and
up
the
like
head
that shit was
witch.
in Vulcan or something.
Hey, and the head bitch, the head witch,
Uh-huh.
the head chick, she was black.
head
So
witch.
you know that's the racism right there. You know what I mean?
A
She's
black woman
witch.
and a Zabrak
Yeah, brack. Yeah.
can't intertwine.
Yeah, man.
No interracial, interspecies, whatever. Anyway,
It's
so
fine. I mean, so
that was
I
kind of
guess
fun I was even gonna make.
to wrap up, I guess for
Misogyny.
Disney, man, like
That's
it's
it.
just I don't have faith in them going forward. My faith was already shaken.
Not like this.
No, because
It's
they
too
haven't
close.
canceled
They're
anything
paying
after
too
one
much
season.
attention to how much money they're gonna make off of these young, or
Is
potentially
this
how much they spent. They're worried too much about how much they're gonna spend.
And it's also weird because like we keep saying, the return on investment, you should know as a bit, you're not going to see a sharp return on your investment, especially on a streaming
A
service
streaming
a
show.
year from now. So why would you panic and cancel it? It didn't make sense. Like it's so expensive, but you knew it was going to be expensive when you decided to produce the show. You
And
know?
who are these people watching Andor? Who?
Apparently that's
Where?
one of the best Star Wars shows. I heard that was one of the best Star Wars shows.
I gave that
Disney
John
produced.
3 solid
Wow.
tries. That shit is boring as fuck.
Like how?
Yeah.
Like that to me, that doesn't.
I love
makes
Star
no
Wars. That
sense.
shit is boring as shit.
That makes no sense.
I don't have much faith in Disney going forward. I will see. I'm still a fan of these properties. I'm still going to see the new content that comes out. But
I'm
yeah,
watching it.
it's just, I wonder maybe something happened with the actors behind the scenes, made them cancel it. Yeah, because I mean, just to pivot and say that you're canceling the show, that means you're eating that loss. Whatever loss you had, you're going to eat it
all the time. It happens all the time. Usually, I'm not sure if it fits with the streaming model, but usually it's because there's a lot of new shiny things that you need to make room for that are coming in, and you need to take the money that you have left and put it into those shiny new things, those new shows to fill the slates. That happens on network television, though. I don't know if that happens with streaming model. Maybe.
The idea of the money they have left, I'm struggling with that.
Because every show has a budget attached to it, so whatever they spend on marketing budget versus budget to pay the actors and crew for the show, they usually have like a bucket of money. So if they, let's say, for example, like the Acolyte cancel a show prematurely, they probably had a bigger bucket of money that they thought was a wiser investment to take that money and put it into the shiny new show that's coming along. But again,
the Skeleton Crew.
Sort of. It's kind of like
That's already made though.
It's think, but again, this is only really happens in network television. I don't know because like Netflix has so many fucking shows that I don't think that's a thing. So I'm not sure if Disney follows a different model, like with that in that regard, but that's a possibility.
Dude, how come Netflix can do so good with their shows? I watched Baby Reindeer last night.
Netflix,
Holy shit!
Netflix has a, I don't know where their fucking money comes from, but like Netflix like has a
Me.
stupid amount of money. They have a stupid amount of money to take a lot of risks. Like we're talking like giving second seasons to shows that definitely don't deserve to have second seasons. But
Like what? I don't know.
did you see fuck what the hell is the name of that show?
I'm with you though.
The show with the 6 people. The OA. Not was it the OA? The OA. Did you watch that show?
Is it sci-fi?
Sort of.
No.
It was a show about 6 people that were like connected in a certain way that they had to stop this like alien invasion. They had to stop.
Fuck.
I'm not
Three
talking
Body
about
Problem.
Three Body Problem is another show. That's getting a second season, by the way.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That show's getting a second season, but like,
yeah,
I like Three Body Problem.
Wait, hey, I think I remember that. Oh, it came out like a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. It was
okay, I do remember that.
Like
yeah.
It was like 2017 or something like that. Yeah.
They got a second season for that.
They got a second season. A second season, but second season did not do well. Like it was terrible. And they got it. But it does have a second season.
Season 1, I remember it being pretty good.
I enjoyed season 1 too.
Yeah.
But like season one for me like got really good only at the end. And it was very hard to follow up until that point. But then when I got to the end, I was like, it kind of all came together for me. I was like, oh, okay. But you know, that was just me. The show's numbers and viewership did not dictate that it should have gotten a second season, but it did.
Here, let me say something, and I've said this before. When it comes to like shows, like on the streaming shows, I feel like one of the main issues, and here maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyway, maybe with the Acolyte. Let me just say with the Acolyte, I feel like they should have closed the story at the end, right? Yeah. Like it was a whodunit. We found out who did it. You got some good fights, and then they should have killed all who needed to be killed, right? They should have just and then ended it, right? And this is make that just a single graphic novel on the side, and just as part of the lore. If you could do it as one season, 8 episodes is tight, you know. Maybe they should have given 10, but like I feel like they could have wrapped all that real good, and it would have been a great just side story, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's kind of how Disney needs to do this shit, because
I think
maybe at least with Star Wars, since the universe is so rigid, maybe with Star Wars you don't have a whole lot of to be continues. Maybe you just have a lot of arbitrary side stories, like the whole Luke stories. There's a book of Luke Skywalker stories. Like he's just doing shit after the fact, running around doing shit, and he does this and he says this and he goes through this, and it's just like, oh, well, that happened, and it's cool. You get to see Luke, right, do his thing, but it's not tied to anything, right? And I feel like people would get a kick out of that, you know?
Yeah, these little one-off side stories. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. I think it just comes with it comes with planning, like intention, right? Like there are shows,
courage.
There are shows out there that have the intention of only lasting 2 seasons, right? Like there's, but like they say, like we're only going to do 2 seasons and we're stopping, or we're doing 3 seasons and we're stopping, right? And I
those
think
are the best shows.
I think it comes with intention. Like the Marvel, I think the Marvel shows kind of have that intention, right? You know, despite the money being spent and like all of the politics or whatever,
It
they're all
opens and it
standalone.
closes. Yeah.
Yeah, they start and they finish, right? Like, and so with the exception of Loki, but Loki was there to actually extend the grand story in its own way. But like Marvel shows have been doing that, and the problem with that though is that we have too many like properties that are like that are not necessary, that are like kind of just, hey, here I am, and then here I go, you know. And it's like, why do we waste our time with with
Well,
this,
that's the thing. Like,
you know?
I don't know. Do people view it like? Do people view shows as like a waste of time if it ends? Like, I feel like if you watch a movie and the movie ends, like it's not a waste of time, right?
In Marvel's case, I feel like it could be viewed as a waste of time because Marvel has a bigger story at play, right? Like an interconnected anthology, large narrative in play, and so it should be the intention that all of these separate TV shows, these standalone shows, should have some sort of cohesiveness and connectivity to the bigger story at play, but they don't. The majority of them don't. And so that's why it can be viewed as a waste of time.
That's kind of what I meant with the whole watch, rinse, repeat, is like interconnect these stories and make us care about one story to the next. You know what I mean? Like, I have to watch, which was smart. They were doing that in the beginning. I mean, I had to watch WandaVision to understand Doctor Strange. I hated on the idea at first, but when I saw WandaVision, I loved it, you know. So when you see Doctor Strange, oh, okay, she was corrupted and by the book and da da da. And I think they were doing that, at least as far as Marvel, before all this shit went down Jonathan Majors. You know, I think
they did that with WandaVision. They did that with Falcon Winter Soldier because that's going to lead up to the next movies. They did that with Loki, yeah, as expanding the universe, and they did that with fucking what was it called? Miss Marvel, because that led directly into the Marvels. So
Marvels was
Hawkeye was like the one that didn't really go anywhere. Because we haven't really seen her.
Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Echo.
Dude, Moon Knight was a fucking pleasure.
It was a really good show.
I don't know.
It was a really good show, but like why? You know, like
I feel like the girl.
There was a kaiju fight at the end of that too.
In Star Wars' case, though, going back in Star Wars' case, that would not be a bad idea because Star Wars has the ability to kind of like potentially, you know, introduce us to new standalone plots, right?
Yeah.
And maybe extend the universe in that way. And maybe that's their way into having a little more flexibility at the end of the day. But like we talked about, they're so rigid and so terrified of upsetting the status quo of what's already been established that they won't do that, right? Like they have to eventually, in their own way, sure.
It's gonna die. It's gonna die if they don't do something with it.
In their own way, they have been doing that, but those shows have not been considered successes, like Kenobi and I'm thinking of the one other show. The show that came out right before this one. What was the name of that show?
Andor?
Is it Andor? No.
I think Ahsoka was before this.
Ahsoka, right? Ahsoka. I don't know if that's going to have a season 2. And
no, they're already. It's greenlit. They're working on it now.
Okay, because that was actually pretty good. You know,
it was good.
Better have season 2. I hate when shows end like that with no resolution. You know, there was a show called, I think it was called The Batman. It was a Batman CGI show. Kind of like Iron Man Armored Adventures. Remember Iron Man Armored Adventures? It was like a
it wasn't The Batman. It was
it just Batman?
No, it was Batman.
Because they had like a villain in there. It wasn't like your average villains. They had a pig face serial killer in there and some shit.
Yeah.
But that show was great, man. I don't know why they ended it. Yeah, it was a good Batman show, man. The action was good, the stories were good.
Didn't have,
and then they just ended.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Didn't have to. It was a show on fuck. It only had like one season.
Yeah, it only had one season, and
It was a
they ended
CGI. It was a CGI Batman show that
I
came
think it
out
was
like.
called just Batman.
Nah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was
It
like
was actually good in the
Batman
story,
because
and
because
just ended.
the Batman was on
Oh,
WB. And
Mm-hmm.
the Batman
Beware the Batman.
Beware the
Yep,
Batman. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I never even seen this shit.
It's a good show, man.
The Batman was on WB, and that ran for 5 seasons. That was a super fucking solid show, especially when they brought in Robin and Batgirl eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking solid show. They had like redesigns and reimaginings of the villains too. I didn't really care for the Joker, but all the other villains had superior redesigns, like just so fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, Beware the Batman. Yeah, that was one season.
Yep.
And
yeah, so I guess it's just like the Acolyte.
It was good.
Ends, and you'll never get a resolution to it.
But that came out. That came out around the time where streaming wasn't really big yet, right? Like that was when it still mattered about ratings and views
TV,
on television, even cable television at the time, right? So I think it just maybe came out wrong time, wrong place, wrong time at the time. But it's
one of my pet peeves as a consumer of this product is non-resolutions to stories. Like
there are
you might as well
Yeah.
not even made the story then,
Like,
you might as well not even made the Acolyte.
like
with Acolyte, there's holes. Like they created holes, like just off of this, and now they're just open, gaping wounds in the fucking framework.
And like you said, Juice, because I had heard that too. Darth Plagueis made an appearance. Darth Teeth. I mean, this was one of the coolest characters you came out with since The Mandalorian. I mean,
Yeah. How is he tied into all of this? Because if Plagueis is there and Teeth is there, and like, so we're just like, they're tied somehow. We don't know how. We know Plagueis is fucking Palpatine's master, and he's the guy who fucking corrupted the Force to the here. All right, I wanted to go back to the lore. We're talking about like the creation of Anakin, and so one of the guys I listened to, Stupendous Wave, and he had this take on like how Anakin was kind of like created through the Force, and it was as a result. Like you guys read Plagueis novel?
I did not read the Plagueis novel. I read Darth Bane.
Okay. But like, so there was a ritual that essentially was done by Palpatine and Plagueis, which essentially pulled the Force field as a whole towards the dark. And then that's what was the impetus for it needing to balance itself, right? And because of that ritual, and so in balancing itself, because it's because Plagueis was using that to bring dead people back to life.
Okay.
Temporarily, it didn't really hold, but it was a way of extending his own life and all that crazy shit. And so, like, as a result, the Force had to create life in order to balance that. And that's some deep lore shit. So why the fuck couldn't the Brindog witches do some just as fucking similar? Nobody knew it but them. It's just crazy. I said witches, right?
And I'm telling you, man, that chant just took you out.
I do not remember what you're talking about.
The Acolyte chant.
I just didn't.
I think the females the 2 twins were already conceived. So I don't think it was the chant then. It might have been in like episode.
That's when they were getting their mark, right? That's when they were supposed to be like committing to the.
Didn't want to get marked. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to get marked. I wonder what would have happened if they both got marked.
Terrible. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing. I was curious about that too. What did that mean?
Yeah, that's why I say I hate when they stop shows in the middle. You don't get a resolution. Like at the end of Beware the Batman, he's fighting. I think it's Dead. Is it Deathstroke or Deadshot? One of the two. great scene. It comes to this
It might have been.
climactic
It might have
end.
been Slade. Yeah, might have
It
been
comes to this
Slade.
Okay.
climactic end, and then that's just it. It's over. I felt like a hole in my heart at the end of it. I'm like, this shit sucks. I'll never know the ending to this story. Like, why would you commit to one season of a show and then not want to commit to season two?
If y'all
Just
if y'all
just to give the fans some closure, just to give me closure as a fan.
if y'all
It's
if y'all kind
Yeah,
of think
I'm with you.
if y'all kind of think about this though, because of like how the TV watching style or age has shifted to streaming, you got to think about it though. I think personally, and I don't have the numbers for this, so just take what I say with a grain of salt, please. But like, I think that like shows getting canceled is there are a lot less shows getting canceled now than there used to be.
I would
Because
agree.
shows would get canceled for any fucking reason. And again, a big reason was because they needed to make room in their slate for new shows, right? Or in the case of animated shows, the toys weren't selling. So there was no need to keep working for the animated for the shows because the shows were there to sell the toys, right? Like there's a variety, like Fox would cancel shows just for whatever reason. The only two exceptions are Simpsons and Family Guy. And Family Guy, they did cancel. And this is the one time that the network actually did listen to the fans because they were in an uproar. And then Fox was forced to bring Family Guy back, and it hasn't been canceled since. But like streaming, though, streaming gives a lot of avenues to shows that would never, most likely never get greenlit by the major network television shows, stations. I mean, and we're seeing we're seeing like all of these new stories, new possibilities, extensions to established universes like Star Wars. Where
would that have happened without streaming?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And I think despite that, yes, there are shows getting canceled like the Acolyte, and there are shows that do get canceled via streaming. It feels like to me that it's a lot less shows getting canceled in this era because there's a lot more chance and a lot more. It's just the way the money works and the views work and the subscriptions work. But like, there's a lot less of that going on now than there used to be when streaming wasn't a thing. So
I would agree with that, yeah. Especially about the shows that get greenlit now. Yeah, I mean, we would probably never, if this was still network television, we would never see something.
It's just something to consider. It's just something to consider, but you also got to consider it's like, damn, like what does it take for a show to get canceled in this era now? Like if it's so much less, then it's like, damn, that it definitely sounds like a more specifically targeted agenda to cancel a show.
That's the thing, right? It seems more personal now.
It definitely seems targeted. Yeah.
Because like if before, if it wasn't hitting the shows, you wouldn't. People just wouldn't have watched it. They wouldn't have had the ad revenue, the eyes on the show that they would have been reading and watching that number, right? We would just have seen it like, oh, nobody watch it. Like, I never heard of the Batman show y'all talking about. Like, I just never seen it. I just never crossed my radar, right? You just wouldn't have known. So nobody would have watched it. So it just probably would be canceled, and for the most part, it would have gone unnoticed. But like, lots of people watched the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like average 9 million viewers an episode.
Yeah, and then like, so they cancel it. It's just like, bro, like, I don't know what y'all were looking for. Like, I'm just repeating what you said, right? Like, what were y'all looking for? Like, what numbers would have had to have been? Because it would have had to have been crazy.
Yeah, it's.
So it seems personal. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, we can all put our hands together and pray for Disney and Star Wars and hope that they get their shit together and hope they turn things around. Do they have another show coming out? Is there anything slated to come out for Disney Plus?
Star Wars?
The Skeleton Crew.
Is there any other show that piques your interest that you see on there?
I'm gonna watch the Skeleton Crew as far
Yeah.
as Star Wars, but I don't really care about it.
Hmm.
Like so I feel like the whole, they're doing the movie Mandalorian and Grogu and whatever,
Right.
tying
Yeah,
everything together. And I was excited at the beginning, but not so much now.
yeah. I feel like it's gonna be filled with politics. I feel like it's not gonna be as pure as seasons 1 and 2. And some
Yeah, I
people will
feel like
even argue
it's
that
gonna be too
season 3
much going
was
on.
pushing.
I feel
Some
like
people argue that
I
season
feel like
3 of
cash
Mando,
grab.
they kind of pushed Mando to the background. They felt like Bo-Katan was more of a main character in season 3 of the Mandalorian.
Season
I
3?
like season 3. I thought it was cool. They
Yeah.
did focus on her a lot more. If you go back and watch season 3, she's the prime focus of a lot of the. But I think it's because the Mando had kind of
Who
peaked
cares?
when he
It's just a show.
delivered.
Ew, that's such
Well,
a
it
weird thing to
matters.
care about, man. I'm sorry. They're like, oh, they don't have my favorite character on the screen the
Well,
whole
it is
time.
called
Like,
the
what the fuck? There's
Mandalorian,
other stories to
and
tell.
and
Like, maybe
and,
he's not gonna
and
be
we
there the whole
and we
goddamn
stuck with
time.
him.
What kind of gripe is that?
This wasn't Game of Thrones. Mando is not Game of Thrones. You go there, you watch it to see what adventures that Mando is going to get into.
But imagine they were
Not what adventures
complaining
with
that
Bo-Katan.
fucking
I can kind of
Daenerys
understand.
wasn't on screen the entire time.
I can kind of understand
Or
because
John.
the Mandalorian
Mhm.
was not established as a show that we're going to follow around multiple characters and get them for a few episodes. It was established as a Mando and Grogu show. So in season 3, when they stopped focusing on Mando, you can kind of get the gripe a little bit. But I still liked it. I still like season 3. Yeah, I don't know if I
Yeah, me
have faith
too.
in the
It's
movie.
good.
Is there any word on when the movie's coming out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't heard anything. I mean,
My my my
when did
att-
season 3
my
come out?
my prediction is going to be Thrawn is going to be the big bad, and they're all going to fight Thrawn,
Mm. So
and
Ahsoka and Mando, they go on concurrently. They're on at the same time,
yeah,
timeline wise.
Ahsoka, Mando. So it's going to be Ahsoka, a Mandalorian, Grogu, fucking what's his name? Your boy.
Andor.
That
No,
would
no,
be kind of
he's Andor's dead.
Oh, right, that's right. Derp.
Fucking the young fella, the young boy. Damn it, what's his name?
Cal Kestis.
No, that would be nice though. The other one that
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 would
they
be
just
dope
picked up
because people
that
were
it just
speculating like when Luke came in
from
at the end of
Rebels,
Mando, was it going to be Cal? Oh, Ezra.
Ezra, yeah, Ezra,
Oh,
and fucking Sabine.
That shit still pissed me off when he didn't want his lightsaber and he let Sabine have it, and then he made a new lightsaber. Give him his fucking lightsaber, man. It's the one you
Yeah,
got
she should
from.
make her own lightsaber for real.
Yeah, right. She could have made her
Dude,
own.
is
Why
she
you take
force
your lightsaber?
sensitive or not? I still don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. Was
What
she in
kind
the
of
show?
exercises is Ahsoka doing? What? Anyway, back. I don't know. Anyway, so the movie, I feel like Dawn's gonna be the big bad, and that's where it's gonna go. So they're all. But that's the thing. That's a lot of Jedi, like in an era where none are supposed to exist.
Right. Yeah. I guess all we can do is speculate, man. I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm still a nerd at heart,
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
know.
watch it. Sure.
But I think the reason that we, like people like us, are so forgiving for Disney and a lot of these big companies and their missteps with these
I'm not. I hate
properties,
them.
it is because we've read a lot of the comic books and the lore and the books and we were following a lot of these characters before they came to the big screen, before they came on streaming and movies and Disney and Marvel was so big. I think they're going to lose a lot of the younger generations, man, because they don't know about the comic books and the
That was my
backstories of
other
these
gripe. You're
characters.
right, D.
Yeah, they don't know. All they know is the streaming service, and
So
why should they give a shit about the Acolyte if they're going to cancel it after one
they're
season?
trusting because
you're
they're
right.
trusting the old fans. They're trusting the old fans who were still around, who do all of the readings and stuff to pass on that knowledge to the younger
kind of keep it
generation.
alive.
But it doesn't work because I have a daughter. And that's not how that should work.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think my son could not care
it's-
less
My
about.
daughter didn't
It's-
care, but you know what she did? She watched all of the Acolyte with me. That's how we watched it. And she was like, by the end of that, Jones, she was like, that was amazing. And I'm like,
and guess what? That's good enough.
Hey, Juice, I know you were so proud. Juice.
I was so
Juice
proud.
was proud. The proud pop.
I was like, oh, we bonded.
Hey, you
I have a teen daughter, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
I had a teenage daughter, dude. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she liked it. So I bought her a book.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I
Now
got
it's
her
canceled this shit.
I was like, here's a bunch of shit.
And say, hey,
Yeah.
Here's some horse.
here's some literature.
Here, chapter 7, scripture 47. I was like,
licking his finger, flipping through the pages.
You know
Yeah, so when you want to.
I was like, yo, here's some more stuff. Enjoy.
Try to get her indoctrinated. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because like that's all it is. Like you want her, but I was like, she was able to. She watched the Acolyte, and she was interested. She followed the story through, and she wanted to know more.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's over now, I guess, right? But it's just like,
but that's what I mean. You were doing exactly what they want. Like they don't want to do that work to try to catch the younger fans because there is such a rabid following of older fans. We're talking like 50 years strong.
Yeah,
50 years strong, several generations strong. That they're like, it's up to them because, and you know what? Like
I don't think so.
No. Of course, no.
Sorry.
No, you do agree because like we harken all the way back to how we started most of this conversation. What is the best way to communicate about good media?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's
true,
it.
True.
That's it. That's what. So
to be fair, I did make her sit down. I was like, "Hey, let's watch this," and then she did, and then she jumped in, right? And then she was like, oh, "Okay," because I was like, "Oh, come on, try this first episode with me. It's a new show. It's not related to anything else." And that's the thing, like, it's not related to anything else. That's why I think like the High Republic prequel, all like super pre everything is a good starting point, right?
Just
because
untapped.
This is untainted. There's nothing there. It's just the Force and Jedi and drama, right? But I also think that like they are reaching out to the youth because you have Young Jedi show, which it has 2 seasons, right? And so they're trying in that way. They're trying to reach out to the youth, and then the Skeleton Crew is. Apparently they're saying it's like the Goonies. It's for young teens, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be for like young teens. So it's about what 4 kids and like whatever.
The Goonies was a classic though, man. Come on, man. Yeah. You gotta leave those 80s movies alone, man.
But that's like that's the format they're going after. They're kind of reaching after like, here, young kids. Here's the thing: you can relate to these youngsters.
Are they relating to young kids, or are they relating to the people who watched the Goonies when they were kids?
They're relating to the child and the people who watched the Goonies.
I think both, because we were young when we watched the Goonies.
Right.
Like we weren't into the Goonies when we were like older. We know the Goonies, but like we watched it, we related to it.
Yeah.
Because we were young. So I feel like that maybe both, right?
Are you guys going to see the new Beetlejuice movie?
No, I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
Some movies you can't redo. Just leave it alone.
It's a sequel or some shit, right? But I'm just like, yeah. I only marginally cared about Beetlejuice. It's interesting, but
Beetlejuice is still a classic. Come on.
It's a classic, but
it's a classic.
I might catch on DVD.
Tim Burton at his best right there, man. That movie still holds up. If you watch Beetlejuice today, it still holds up. The effects, I mean, everything. It still looks good.
It's a wild ass fucking movie.
Tim Burton in the late 80s, early 90s was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like
that nigga changed the game.
Yeah, he was unstoppable, like in that era.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yep, Edward Scissorhands.
Goddamn. Christmas. What was that? Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Like
I always wonder, like, especially around that time when like these kind of goofy movies weren't really normal, like a movie like Edward Scissorhands, right? Like, how was Johnny Depp on set with those fucking scissor hands? Like, were people making fun of him while he was standing there with the scissor hands? Like,
he wasn't wearing them all the time.
But still, it's just weird.
Like, yo, break time.
Even today, even today, like when Robert Downey Jr. is standing there in the Iron Man thing, and he's like all bulky and You know, it's like how they use the bathroom. How do they the behind the scenes productions is always
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
fascinating.
I'm
How
sure.
does that work?
Sure, they watch the behind the scenes. The behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah.
Jeez.
Just still, it's just I would be interested to be on set to like how you take those things off. How you go to the bathroom with them things on, man? You know, this motherfucker. Who wrote the
Offset
script?
D,
accident.
Edward
these
Scissorhands a book?
people, these people are professionals. They
Hey,
are, they
was
are,
was
they are like, no matter how stupid
was
they
Edward
look,
Scissorhands
they
a
know
book?
to
This
get.
the idea for a movie like
Nah,
Edward
it wasn't a
Scissorhands.
book.
This motherfucker was giving women haircuts with the
Yo,
fucking
real
scissor
talk.
hands and
How
shit.
do
It
you
wasn't a book.
pitch an idea like Edward Scissorhands?
Exactly right. Like
I
who
don't
would
know.
That's the
greenlight that
wild
movie
shit.
and take it seriously? You know?
Because in the fucking 80s they were fucking the boardroom was doing coke the half the fucking
Yeah,
time.
true that.
They were like, "That's fucking amazing idea."
They were doing.
Did you guys ever see a movie
Crazy-
call I think it was the
Craziest
Toxic
shit I ever
Avenger?
heard.
Yeah, I seen that.
You guys
Something
remember the
crazy.
Toxic Avenger?
Of course.
You
They
remember the
had two
guy fell in like
movies, I think.
yeah, they had like
Was it
2 or
two?
3 of them.
Yeah.
Dude, those movies, I swear, if you watch those shits now, they are so like racist, misogynist. I mean, just
They're bad.
Oh,
stupid,
really?
just stupid movies. But
Yeah, they're bad.
how did those movies get greenlit? You know, like how did they?
Cocaine. Cocaine. That's how they
This
got
motherfucker was dude. This guy was walking around a tutu with a mop, fucking people
But-
up. You know, like just the whole
Yeah.
everything was.
But
It's just fucking crazy movie.
But that harkens back to toy sales. Like,
Yeah, true that because I had a Toxic Avenger toy.
I did too.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Can
had
you
the faction
believe-
figure.
Can you believe RoboCop? As fucking crazy as that movie was, RoboCop toy sales.
Yeah, I had RoboCop.
I had several
Toy
RoboCop
sales.
toys.
Like, especially RoboCop and RoboCop 2, but the first RoboCop was fucked. Like the blood and the cursing and the gore and the sex, and it's like, yo,
Definitely seen that, Joe. Too.
they made
Niggas definitely watched that, Joe, too,
toys
yo.
out of this. They
Yeah.
made toys for kids out of that shit. Fucking Terminator 2 especially. They made toys out of that movie, dog.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I had the RoboCop Detroit squat car, and RoboCop could go inside the passenger, the driver's seat and drive
toy
around.
too.
You know?
That
That shit was dope, man. Yeah, RoboCop was my guy, man. And then they tried it again in 2014. That movie sucked, man. It's, you know,
No, that wasn't good. No.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
we can hope, fellas. Do we got time for a Am I the Asshole before we get out of here? Frank always does the best Am I the Assholes, man.
I got
You
one.
got one? Yeah.
Got one?
But if you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Spit that shit.
on this week's Am I the Asshole? So we have wife, husband, and mother-in-law. Those are the three players here, right? So mother-in-law is mother to the husband. So the wife is the main character, the main subject of this story. So the wife does not have a good relationship with the mother-in-law. It's a really bad relationship. Basically, the mother-in-law talks shit about her to her son, the wife's husband, and the son doesn't defend her, doesn't defend his wife. He doesn't stand up to his mom. He basically lets his mom, say whatever. But then when the wife complains to the husband, then the mom tries to get on the wife's good side. But then there's this point where the mother tries to like get on the wife's good side by like dyeing her hair the same color as the wife. And then when people tell her that the hair looks terrible, then she blames the wife. So that's just an idea of the type of relationship that the wife and the mother-in-law has. Okay, so the actual story is the wife and the husband decide to go on vacation. They decide to go away for 2 weeks to go to different like cities around internationally.
He's not bringing his mama, is he? He's bringing his mama?
Let's see how this plays out.
Oh no.
So the wife explicitly states to her husband, I do not want your mother to come on this trip with us. I want this to be a trip with just you and me. And the husband fights her on it a little bit, right? And the husband's like, why can't she come? You know, like she's not going to do anything. She can be in her own hotel room. He's making up all these excuses for his mom. And his wife says, once again, do not bring her on this trip. Do not invite her to come on this trip. And the husband's like, man, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm gonna buy her a ticket. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna call your bluff, and we'll see what happens if you do that. And then the husband gives in, and he's like, fine, you know, like fine, like a fucking kid. He's like, fine, I won't bring her. I won't buy the tickets for her. And the wife's like, okay. Now, mind you, the wife is the one that funded pretty much the entire trip. The husband's only responsibility was to book the tickets, which he did. But again, he booked the tickets. Okay. So the wife funded the rest of the trip. So come to the day they're going to leave. After they had that little argument about it, things were really quiet, right? And we're talking like this dude's mom is the type that he calls her every single day, right? Or they talk every single day. Every single day they talk. And she, you know, they hadn't heard from her in a while, right? Like especially, well, the wife hadn't heard anything from her in a while. Maybe they were still talking. Who knows? The day they leave, things were suspiciously quiet. The wife had like a strange feeling, but she was like, you know what? Maybe it's good. Maybe this is just how it is, like without her being in our face all the time. So I'm going to try to enjoy myself on this trip with my husband. So they go to the airport. As soon as they get to the ticketing booth, the wife looks ahead of her husband, and she sees his mom standing there with packed bags. Husband goes right to her, his mom, and gives her a hug and says, hey, you know, so glad you're coming, and this and that. And the wife had this horrible feeling. And so she's like, I'm going to go. She said this internally to herself, like, I'm going to go. So she just turns around and walks out of the airport. As she's walking out, the husband is trying to catch up with her and saying, like, where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? You're being ridiculous. You know, so what? My mom is here. And then the wife specifically says, like, I told you not to bring her. I told you not to invite her. And he's like, well, she's already here now, so she might as well come with us. And so she's like, no, y'all can go. I'm going to go home. So she goes home, leaves her husband and the mom there. She gets home. She breaks down. She cries for a while. An hour later, her husband comes through the door, and they get into a bigger fight. And he's saying things like, you're being ridiculous. Like, I don't understand. Like this, like my mom wasn't going to do anything. She has every right to go on this trip because I invited her because she's my mom. And then he hits her with an ultimatum. He says, if you don't start acting right, I'm gonna go with her, and I'm gonna leave you here. And the fact of the matter is, like, she was fine with that, but it was still the fact that he gave an ultimatum between his wife, and his mother. So she says, okay, you do whatever you got to do.
This feels like a really easy, but
it seems very easy. Yeah,
it starts easy. So, he's like, okay. So he decides not to go, right? But as a result, the fallout from that is that the mom also didn't go, and then the mom is just like ripping into this woman about like the fact that she's the one, like it's basically her fault, like she's the one that ruined the trip for everybody. She's the one that made things so uncomfortable for her and her son. She's the one that prevented her son from being able to go on this trip and have a good time. You know, like if it wasn't for her, she would have never known. They wouldn't have known what the mom was going to do out there. And she was making up all these fucking excuses, right? Ripping into this woman, and this woman was just taking it with stride. So I'll stop there for now. Now, what do you guys think? Who's the asshole here?
Husband. Look, this guy's fucking wiling. I can't.
100%.
Yeah, like,
You sound
no,
like a
she
mama's
just.
boy, bro.
Yeah, like on like a
You
dangerous
wanted
level. Like that's
specifically
disturbing.
asked you not to bring your mother, and you did the opposite of what they were that. You could have just went on that trip. And I don't want to begrudge a man for the love of his mother.
No,
Okay,
of course
I don't
not.
care what age you are. You love your mama. You know what I mean? Hey, Jules,
But
I remember at
lines
your
must be
wedding you had
drawn.
that. I remember at your wedding you danced with your mom. I'll always love my mama. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
remember
Right.
the song.
Right. Yeah.
She's my
So
favorite girl.
I'll never begrudge a
Yeah,
man
you know what I'm
to be
saying?
your mom, bro. But you're not a child. You're a grown man. Your wife asked you not to bring your mother on a trip. She wanted to share the time with you. Leave your mom at home. You could go on a trip with you and your mom later on. This
Send your
particular
mama
trip,
on another trip. She can go somewhere else.
leave. You know, come on, man.
Okay.
The husband to me, Frank. I say the husband.
Yeah, the husband.
Okay.
Same
Okay.
reasons. Like, yeah.
Seems easy. Seems simple. I'm with y'all.
It does. I'm waiting for the twist.
I'm with y'all up to this point. Not necessarily a twist, but there's more to the story. So when she posted this, people started, agreeing with like you guys, saying like, not the asshole. You're not the asshole. The husband is in the wrong. The mom is in the wrong. Some people were on the husband's side, saying like, you were pretty selfish and not letting them go, but that was a vast minority. Like it was just like a 99.
They all going on vacation today, mama.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like 90 days. Those are the type of people that would let that shit fly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of people
that was him in the chat.
The one
was
guy.
that bad?
But the majority of people were also crying divorce. They were also saying like you need to divorce this man, because this man will always put you second or third even. You need to you communicated a boundary and it was crossed many times, and your husband did nothing to defend you. Your husband did nothing to advocate for you, to stand up for you. He did everything for his mom and did nothing for you. A lot of the comments were like, y'all need to separate. Y'all need to divorce. You need to get rid of this man. So that caused kind of a crossroads for this woman, right? And this woman updated with another question saying like, everybody here is saying divorce and it's sounding like a good idea, but like, is that too extreme of an idea? I'll stop here. What do y'all think? And then I'll tell you what happens at the end.
Let me ask. You might have said earlier, but I forgot. How long have they been together? And they have no kids, right?
No kids. It was not established how long they had been together, but they are married. So that's.
I would say divorce is a little extreme. I mean, I can see him putting her second because she asked you not to bring your mother, bro, and you seem like a mother's boy. This particular guy seems like a mama's child, which is fine. I mean, is this his mother's only child? I've heard of situations.
It's actually not. It's actually not. That was gonna be part of the beginning of the next part of the story, but no, he's actually not. He has other siblings,
yeah.
Which kind of,
if that was the mom's only child, you could kind of understand their closeness. They might have depended on each other. She might have been all he had, and obviously she was all he had, but he might have been all she had. Maybe the relationship with the father ended badly, and she depended on him. Which kind of leads to the club. But once you get married, there's a new I feel like I've never been married, but I feel like once you get married, there's a new front woman in your life, especially.
Yeah.
Your wife comes first. You have established your own family, and your family comes first, bro. The mother,
Mhm.
well, they don't have any kids, but your wife, your kids, that is your primary family now. And it seems
Mhm.
like he's having trouble with separating the two and seeming he's choosing who he wants to put first. And it seems like it's his mother. So, but I
Mhm.
don't want to say
I would
divorce because
say,
like
yeah.
you don't want to jump off the cliff, like
Mhm.
do
I
they have a
also
happy
say like
relationship outside of
the
this? You know?
yeah, I would say divorce is also a little bit like much too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, pretty much everything D said. Like, like it is problematic that he is sticking so close to his mom and that he's like he almost seemed like he was hiding the fact that she was
Right.
going
Mm-hmm.
because the fact that she just popped up and he didn't say anything about it, even though they had
Popped up.
already
Yeah,
agreed.
right.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you made it." And all of a sudden, he's
A
acting
good
like,
observation.
"Yo, how are you? What you mad about?" Like, because
Yeah,
you
you kind
said
of
something, and
plotting
then
behind my
now
back. Yeah.
she did. She lives with y'all, but she didn't travel there with y'all. Seems a little sus. So that seems like I don't know what that means, but it definitely is a
Mm-hmm.
red flag. And I wouldn't say divorce just yet. There would have to be more factors, but like it is concerning. It's definitely concerning.
So you wouldn't think that this behavior, this
It's indicative of a
behavior,
bigger
this
issue.
behavior, it is a much bigger issue, but this behavior would be allowed to continue throughout however many years that they are married, right?
Yeah, because
It
here
should be allowed to continue.
she already lives with them. Like she's already there.
Hmm.
Like which means to a degree, the wife agreed that this is fine to a degree. Now, as far as
Wait, wait, wait,
putting,
wait, 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 wait. No, she doesn't live with them.
oh, she doesn't live with
No,
them.
she doesn't live with
Okay.
them. Did I say that? I'm sorry. I didn't. I
I
don't think I
wasn't
said that.
sure, but I assumed because Juice had said it, I assumed it was
No,
somewhere in
Yeah,
between.
my bad.
no. She didn't. She doesn't live with them.
Okay.
That's really weird too.
Yeah.
That's even weirder.
It might not
Well, okay,
change things much, but like, yeah, she doesn't live with them.
okay, well, okay then. Still,
I got a question. So where's the dad? Where's his dad? Is he? They didn't mention him in the story at all or anything?
I'll get to that.
Because if the mother is lonely and she needs, well, but you said he has other siblings, so I guess we need to
Mhm.
hear that in the story. Because if the mother is
yeah,
lonely and that's his mom, and he wants to keep her, her mind occupied, and you could kind of see it, But this one trip, just take it with your wife, bro. It could,
yeah.
simple fix.
You can break
You
off
know,
for a week. It's fine.
yeah.
It's
Me and my
it's it's
mom could go out somewhere and we come back. Next trip, well, I'll take my mom.
so that would be sensible. So I just have a question and a clarification question for y'all.
Mhm.
So again, the first question is about. I mean, I guess you guys answered the question, but it was just more about like this is indicative of a larger problem which will persist because it has been the pattern in the past. So
Yeah,
it's like, you know, why not divorce now and versus letting it become a bigger problem and potentially damaging your mental health more
Hey,
by letting it
I'll
happen.
say for me, as far as for the wife, I'll say it to her just like I said it to Disney. You decided to make a commitment, and you have to honor that commitment and not cancel after one season. Now this first part was a
it
bad season. Okay, it was bad. All right, but you can't just walk out when
wasn't
you
bad.
committed to this person. You have to try to fight through it. Somebody pointed out that like a lot of the older generations, they had just as many problems as our generation and younger, right? But they
Hmm.
didn't just run to divorce. Like look at your parents. Juice. How many years your parents been married, man? And I'm sure they've had their ups and downs, but they're still here.
Hmm.
They're still together. You know what I mean? And that counts. That counts for something. Your kids see that. If they want to have any kids in the future, I don't know. I don't know. It's multifaceted though. It's
I
multifaceted. I'm
think
very interested to hear the end.
I think a lot of like what your responses have to do with is sensibilities, right? Like
Yeah,
your
sentiment.
sensibility your sensibilities lie with trying to figure it out, give it a chance, let it breathe a little bit, and try to understand where the other person's coming from, right? Like that would make the most sense as far as your sensibilities lie.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
feel
would
like
say the same thing to her as I said to Disney. Man. Give it a chance, man. Shit, you know. Cancel.
Yeah, we don't know how long they've been married though. Like, if this is something,
let's
for
assume
me, if this is something that's happened 4 or 5 times before, you know,
Within
maybe
like
even
a year
3.
or
Let me just
two.
do 3, like 3 times.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd time this specific thing or something has happened. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I feel like here, when it comes to marriage, I'm kind of with D. Is like, you made a commitment. Like, your crazy ass mama is not like the deal breaker alone. It has to be some
other shit.
it wouldn't need to be some actual damage done or something other than her making me annoyed as shit, right? To be like, okay, well, that would make sense to divorce now. Well, it would still be a little bit immature.
Okay.
I'm very interested to hear the end of this story. I see the way Frank is smiling, man. I'm like, that's some shit
I know,
coming,
man.
man. What's up, man? Hey, what's up, Frank?
Shit. I'm
What's
scared.
this shit going? Hey, look, I'm like, hey, look, man. Come on, Frank, give it to me, man.
Yo.
This shit going, man. Hey, Frank definitely had a devious smile on him right there. Like, hey, man, what's up?
Here we go.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Wait till you hear this shit.
So, all right. So, let's end this story. First, I'm gonna start with the husband's kind of place in all of this, as far as like where he's coming from a little bit. So the husband does have 3 siblings. He is so he's one of 4. I think he is the second youngest, so kind of the middle child. But the father is not in the picture. The father left a while back. The mom is the husband is the favorite of the mother of all the kids, and that has also created tension in the between the kids.
I was just about to say,
yeah. So the husband and his 3 siblings, they don't talk to each other, and a lot of it has to do with the mother's favoritism of him over the other siblings. I'm not sure about how the siblings are split. Like I think it's 2 girls and 2 sisters and 1 brother. But the husband in question is the favorite. So that also fuels his attachment to his mother, and he's extremely attached to her. Like I mentioned before, they talk every day, right? He calls her, she calls him. They talk at length every single day. Getting back to the wife.
The mother seems like the problem.
She's definitely a problem. Yeah.
To alienate your kids from each other because you're playing favorites with one over the others, like.
And it's like clear favorites, like clear favoritism, where the other kids are like, nah, we don't.
To the point where your siblings are not talking to one of their other siblings. That's already right there is a problem. You know.
Yeah, huge problem. And then the wife. So the wife decides to go through with it. She decides to divorce him. Decides to leave him. The husband again is protesting, saying like, you're being ridiculous. You are, then he starts like getting real nasty with her, like, you're a fucking bitch. And he's like, no one's gonna love you like I did, and blah blah blah.
When you first started, Frank, I wanted to commend the husband because he was saying she's being ridiculous. Like, he's trying to fight for his marriage. And then he turned and called her a fucking bitch. I'm like, okay, well, shit.
Let me finish up here for a second. I want to hear your comments right after I say this one thing. This one thing, all right? So it turns out that the wife, in between the time that the airport incident happened and the update, In between that
Don't
time,
don't say she
I'm
was
not
with somebody.
no, but he was.
So
Wait,
he had
what?
infidelities.
He had infidelities. His husband cheated on the wife. In between the time that the airport incident happened and the update, I'm not sure what the length of time was, but it was pretty soon, like close together in time. So the husband, so it's some wild shit, right? Like there is a lot of theories floating around out there as to like why he did it, but like a lot of them seem to point to the fact that like his mom had something to do with it, right? Like his mom, like he was so upset with this woman for upsetting his mom, or fucking up the trip that he was going to take with his mom, that he was like, there was no other option, there was no one else out there for me. Fuck this bitch. I'm gonna go with somebody else, or I'm gonna be with somebody else. And he cheats on her in between that time. And again, time frame is probably pretty close. And the wife finds out about it. And the wife, devastated, right? Like heartbroken. It also turns out that they've been together for, and I didn't mention this on purpose, but it turns out that they've been together for about 5 years. And this to your question, Juice, this whole, like, how many times has this happened before? Quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
Quite a bit. This
Okay.
is not the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th time. It's all the time.
Or a cycle, repeated thing, yeah.
It's all the time.
All right, it's toxic now.
So
So-
the wife is out on the "Am I the asshole" part. She's out.
Completely. Completely. There is no way, and that's pretty much the end. She served him papers. He's going through the motions of signing, but he's resisting. But that's where the update was left at. So
Maybe because he's realizing, damn, my wife was actually loving and caring, and it sounds like to me that the husband has emotional attachment issues. It sounds like his problems come from the mother. One, for alienating one child over others. Right there, that tells me she has
but he's
either
not.
emotional or.
But he's also not faultless, right?
Oh,
He's
100%.
No, definitely
He's
not.
letting it all happen. He's letting all.
He's
of it
making the
happen.
decisions.
He's letting
Because
it all
one,
happen.
he could have still went on vacation with his mom. His wife didn't ruin the vacation. She left him at the airport, decided she wasn't going. So he could have went. Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go with your mom and go on your vacation.
The wildest part about this to me is the fact that he fucking cheated on her in that time frame, and it's like, why?
How?
That's what I say. I think he has like emotional attachment issues. Maybe the wife pulled back.
It's like he wanted to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say, like, it's like he wanted to find someone that was more suitable for his mom. These theories are fucking crazy. But he's like, he wanted to go out and find someone more suitable to accept his mom and their relationship. And it's like, yo, people are fucking crazy, dude.
Maybe the wife pulled back emotionally after that final time at the airport, and she's she's starting to question her marriage and her commitment that she made to this man who can't seem to let go of his attachment to his mom. And now that the man is looking for emotional attachment through other means, well, if I'm not going to get this emotion from my wife, I got to go search for it elsewhere.
It definitely.
What about your mama? Like your mom that you talk to every day.
Right.
There's your emotional attachment.
Yeah. Let her feed you.
That was another theory. It was like, yo, maybe he was trying to find like somebody that was more like his mom. So not only would that person be more accepting, but like it would be as close to the real deal that he's always wanted.
So am I the asshole is between the mother and the husband.
He's definitely enabling it.
They both can be.
I would say the
Yeah.
mom is too. Yeah, I would say the
They
mom
both
is
can
too.
be. That's for sure.
Because
The biggest
you
asshole is
have
him,
to know
though.
your boundaries, bro. You can't. I don't care if that's your favorite son and all this other, which is a problem in itself. I don't care if that's your favorite child. That man is married. Okay, his
Mhm.
wife is his new queen. You know what I mean? Like
Priority.
you have to put your family first, man. But it's layered because you don't want to begrudge a man for loving his mama. That's my mama, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
always
but
love my mama.
yeah, definitely.
But to that extreme,
Yeah,
that
like
you
your
would
mom
literally
should
that you
know
would
better.
literally
Like your mom should want you to
that you would
like be
literally
with
Right.
cheat.
your
Like,
wife.
how childish is that? Like you would literally cheat on your wife because she ruined the trip that you were supposed to take with your mom and her that you didn't even tell her about,
Right. You
and that
snuck your mom into the airport. Yeah.
you broke the boundary. You know, you broke the boundary that the wife set. Like your wife set this boundary and you broke that just because you didn't respect her enough to listen to what she had to say, and you still brought your mom. And
especially
the fact that he snuck her in the airport and then basically led her there, and then was thinking like, oh, when she sees her in the airport anyway, we're gonna have to go now.
right. She's
You know,
already
she's
here. What
not
do we
gonna make a
do?
scene. You know,
Yeah, that's conniving. Yeah, that was definitely
And to me,
something.
the wife didn't ruin the trip. You still could have went on that trip with your mom, bro. Go ahead and go. Your wife just decided she wasn't going. And
It's you
you
and your
said like
mom.
this wasn't the first time. It's been multiple instances. Maybe the
no,
wife just
multiple
reached a
times.
point where she was just fed up and like, you know what? He's never going to choose me. You know, he's never going to choose me. You guys remember seeing this old video? It's probably a couple years old now. It was on Instagram or whatever. But like the mom was sitting in the front seat of the car when they went to pick up the wife. And the wife got mad that the husband didn't make his mom get in the back seat. This is a whole separate video, right? And they were arguing in the video. The mother and the wife were arguing. The wife felt like the mom should get in the back seat because the wife is here now. This is my wife. This is my queen. You know, we came. I had my mom here. We went and picked up. So the wife was mad that the husband never stood up for her and was making his mom get into the back seat so the
That's
wife could sit up front.
crazy, though.
It
Why would you
seems
make your
petty.
mom get in the back seat?
It
That
seems
doesn't
petty.
make any sense.
But maybe it's kind
Also,
of maybe it's not the first time that he did something like that. He chose his mother over. It wasn't the point of his wife getting in the back seat over the fact that the wife just wanted him to choose her. You know, choose my side for once. You know, so I guess it's
it
not a new
depends, though.
argument.
I think
Huh.
in that case the mom should have offered.
Right,
And
right. But the
the
mom was
should have
steadfast. The
offered.
mom was like,
Or
"No, I'm not getting in the back seat. This is
why would the
my
wife
son.
ask?
I was here."
Like, if my wife, like, if I
I
was
think it's
telling
an
my
instance
wife,
where
and my mom was sitting there, and my wife was like, "Hey, can you get in the back seat? Like, you better have a cast on your foot. Like, something better be wrong. Like, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean?"
I don't know. I think it was just the instance of, I think it seemed like the husband was just choosing the mother's side over the wife's side a lot. And maybe shit just hit the fan. Like in Frank's story, when the wife got to the airport, she was like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. Y'all go ahead and go on y'all vacation. I'm tired. I'm over it. You know,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm over this. Because you're never going to choose me. You're just not going to do it. You know, it's a fine balance. And, but I'll never begrudge a man for loving his mama, man. This lady birthed me, man. It's my mother. You know, it's tough. What would you do?
Limits.
What would you do, Juice? I know you would have to tell your wife that your mom's coming. There's no way you sneak your mom into the airport, right? Your
No,
wife would hear your
my
mom.
mom would not be going. Like, she just wouldn't be going. Like, hey, real talk. Like, my mom might not even know I went. Like, she'd be like, "Where are you?" Like, that's what happened in Virginia Beach. She called me, and I was like, "Yeah, I was driving," and she's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, where are you?" I was like, "No, we're going to Virginia Beach." She's like, "You Virginia Beach or
yeah.
Myrtle Beach?" So
You
why
ain't
you tell
me?
nobody? I'm like,
The fuck?
"Fuck, I don't know." What you mean? I'm going. Like, we all together, so we're going down the beach. What you talking about? Yeah, I don't know. That's very strange to me. Like, I love my mom, right? She drive me nuts though. Like, ain't no way in the world. Like, I'm not gonna invite her in the first place. But for me to tell my wife that I'm not gonna take her
And
and then take her,
and then have
you
her
don't
show up.
get you don't get multiple chances with that shit.
No, you don't.
Like, just imagine. I can't
No,
imagine it.
you don't.
Look,
I just
she
wouldn't even want
needed
to
to
go through the
leave because that shit
aggravation
was
of
toxic. Imagine how patient she was to give this nigga multiple chances.
Mhm.
Nah,
I
son,
wouldn't
ain't
even,
no
if
way
I
in the
was a
world.
husband, I wouldn't even want to go through the aggravation of sneaking my mom in there and then having to hear my wife's mouth. I'm like, man, mom, we're just gonna take you to the next. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear about fussing about the shit,
I
man.
mean, partially, yeah, right? It's like, I don't even want to argue about it. Why would I
I don't
set
want to
myself
argue.
up for this
Just let's go on our
terrible
vacation. I'll take
situation?
you on
Because
the
he
next
didn't.
vacation.
Because he did not respect. He did not respect. He did not respect his wife.
True,
Right.
true,
Yeah.
Listen to what she
true.
Apparently, he didn't respect the wife. Yeah.
He did not respect her.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a symptom of a bigger problem, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good one,
Clearly,
Frank. God damn it, Frank gives the best him out of the assholes, man. Shit.
Damn.
And it's layered too because you can respect the love that a son has for his mother, but when you get married, you have a new queen, man. It's a new first lady, in your life, and that's your family. You have to put your family first. It's
I would
tough though. It's
also,
tough.
I would also kind of like the last thing I want to say about the story is that it was brought up. It was brought up here, right? Like there was no mention of like if the husband and wife had a good relationship. There was no mention of it. None.
Mm.
The wife did not. The wife usually some of the stories that start out like this say like, oh, me and my partner have a great relationship. He or she is the best, the best
Yeah.
spouse. Like, we really communicate on a deeper level. We have great intimacy, but and
It will
then
come
the
up
story
first.
starts,
Yeah.
right? But like as a disclaimer, despite that, then the story
Mhm.
starts, right? As to like who's the asshole here. But like this was like there was none of that. It was straight into I don't have a good relationship with my mother-in-law. Here's an example, and then here's the story. So
Maybe that factored into the wife's decision as well. Like to file for divorce is like it's been 5 years. That's a fair enough shot to know whether this thing is going to work or not, right? Like, maybe their relationship wasn't so great. Maybe they didn't communicate well. Obviously, he's sneaking his mother to the airport.
That's crazy. I'm
Not
sorry.
defending-
Every
not
time you say
defending
that, I'm gonna say that.
not
You know
defending
how
his
big
wife.
of an argument? I wouldn't even do that shit just off the job. I just don't want to argue. I'm like, if my mom gonna come, I'm just gonna tell my wife that she's coming, just so you know.
Like, I
don't
wouldn't sneak.
I
Let's
wouldn't
settle
even
I
this
don't
shit.
know. I wouldn't sneak a cell phone. Like, why would you sneak a whole nother person like
And
to
then the mom just
vacation
pops
with
up
you?
No,
with
and the thing
bags
is,
and luggage
she
and
had
shit.
her bags packed, like her
Yeah,
bag, like she had her luggage
Like,
packed.
yeah.
the
I would feel
gaslighting
disrespected if I
for
was the
him to
wife
be
too.
like, "What's wrong?" That's how you get stabbed. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you get stabbed. What's wrong? After you done snuck this entire adult with
Right, who we
with they
specifically talked
bags.
about, and I asked you not to bring. Yeah,
You gonna ask me what's wrong?
yeah. So maybe the wife was just surprised.
That's how you get shot.
It's very layered and subjective though, man. I guess you just don't know. It's little
That's
nuances to it.
crazy. Like, he did not. Yeah, he did. He hated her. Like, I don't know. That's weird. That's crazy
And then
shit.
to go cheat on her, it tells me that he has. I mean, we don't know what their like Frank was saying, the intimacy levels or anything, but it seems like he's looking for some emotional connection that it maybe is repressed feelings from
Yes, he might just be a dick.
He's looking for Mama Part 2.
Yeah, I think he's looking for Mama Part 2. Like he's looking for someone who's going to treat him like his mama. So yeah, I guess
like, that's some
my
speculation. This nigga just a dick. He's just an asshole. Like,
I think
if he didn't care about her enough to not sneak his mama to the airport, which that's still so crazy to say, to sneak your mama to the airport.
Yeah.
But
Like
like,
he Ubered
if you
her to the
didn't care
airport.
enough
Oh
about
shit,
her
what you
to
doing here?
not do that,
He
how's you gonna care
literally
enough to
planned.
not cheat?
He literally planned it out. Like, think about it. Like, if the mom was already there before they got there, he planned it out. It's like, Mom, I need you to be at
Yeah,
the airport. I need you to be at the airport at 8.
it's almost
Mhm.
like
And we're gonna show up at 8:30, and you're gonna meet us here. So he knew exactly what fucking entrance to walk in. You know, like despite the the flights or whatever. She knew what flight they were gonna take. She was ready to go.
his
That's
no. You
devious.
know what? His plan was to hope that she didn't even see his mama,
Yeah,
and they would
they
land,
walked in the wrong door.
and they would be in the
They would
same.
be in
They
the
would just
same
be getting
place.
their luggage
Yo,
at the
could you
same place,
imagine? Fuck.
Right,
and
he
then
just looking at
she'll
you.
just
Imagine.
be stuck there and have to
Yeah.
deal with it. That was his plan.
I know
Damn.
me. There's no way
Fucking
I would want to
savage,
go on a
sinister motherfucker.
vacation
That's so
with.
creepy.
There's no way I'd want to go on a vacation with, like it would just feel like you had a third wheel. It's like I have to entertain my mom and I
Yeah,
have to
right.
entertain my wife. It's like
That's
I just want
that's
to
how
go
it will
enjoy
be.
time with one or the other. I can't have both of y'all at the same time. I can't. You know, especially
That's
if the
exactly
mom
how
didn't
it
have
would
the
be. You would
partner
have
or
to split
husband.
your time.
Yeah,
You couldn't just get up and go to breakfast. You're gonna be like, oh, let me go see if my mama ready for breakfast. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like you gotta keep doing all this. And she just like, God damn.
Yeah. I think my final answer is the husband. The husband's the asshole.
Yeah.
The husband's the asshole. Because he should have just stood up to his mom. It seems like he can't stand up to her.
No, because he's her favorite.
And the mother's part asshole too for not allowing her son to have his relationship. You know,
Yeah,
seems like she took
Totally.
every chance
definitely.
she had to intercede in it
Yep,
and
totally.
come in between him and the wife. You know.
Yeah, I say they both are.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who is not the asshole here is the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she seems
But
like she was totally the victim here. Like normally you'd be like, hey, everybody's a little bit, but
everybody sucks.
no.
But yeah, no. The
I would
wife
say
is
she's the
totally.
asshole for letting it get this long or making it last this long.
Yeah, true.
Should have been out of there.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. Probably after like year 3 or 4. By the time you get to
yeah.
5, if the shit still ain't changing, we gave it a shot, bro. We did. So, damn, man, good one, Frank. Goddamn.
Thank you.
Frank hits it out of the park again, man. Shit.
I
Yeah.
try. I'll try
Nice
to find
setup.
a
Hey,
cheeky
devious
one next
grin
time.
in the middle. You know what I mean? Like the intrigue and anticipation was there. I was like,
They
well,
wait till
shit.
y'all
Where's
hear
we
this
go?
shit.
Yeah.
No, that's why I asked y'all. I'm like, people are saying divorce this man, and this is before I even read the update. And I thought the same as y'all. I'm like, that's a little extreme. And then more details started coming out about like the time they've been together, how the mom really treats the son, like being the favorite, and the fact of the matter is that this has gone on for so long, multiple times, and then the cherry on top is that motherfucker cheats on her in that time frame. Fuck.
Yeah.
There was just too much. There was just too much that definitely made the wife not the asshole, and the husband definitely the asshole, and the mother definitely an asshole.
Yeah. If I had to break it down percentage-wise between the husband and the mom, I'd say the husband's probably about 60 to 70% the asshole. The mom gets the rest. Because the mama is just, I don't think she would act that way unless the husband allowed her to. If he put his foot down and said, hey, mom, this is my wife now. You have to respect her, But like I said,
That's fair. I think that's fair assessment.
A man loves his mama. I can't begrudge him for that, And
Unless
honestly,
he loves
the
his
wife
mama
should
too
have
much.
seen. I don't know how long the wife and the husband dated, but I feel like the wife should have seen some of this before they got married. Did the wife not meet the mom before they got married?
There wasn't a mention of their dating. They were like already married when the story started.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like she would have seen some of that before. That he was so
I
close
know
to his
women be
mom.
looking for that though.
Yeah.
A lot of women do not like men who mama's boys for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because cats like this, man, seems like
fucking
I
crazy.
don't know. Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
You're spazzing
But
over your
again,
mama.
the husband wasn't
If
around.
you arguing over
we
your
don't know how
mama,
old the mother was. a lot of factors into it.
She's old enough to pack her bags and bring them with her.
Yeah, hell yeah. Showed up with some luggage. I'm like, I'd be like, if I was a wife, I'd be like, the fuck? The fuck is it?
Yeah. You are that capable.
If I was the husband, I would have played like I ain't know what the mama. Like, damn, like what you doing here? You know what I'm saying? I would have just played mom, play along.
That would have been worse.
It wouldn't have worked.
That would have been worse.
Hey, I'll take y'all advice from me. Y'all are married men. I'll take y'all word.
She didn't look. She took one look at you like
so much worse for you.
Same result.
That would have been so much worse for you.
Yeah,
really.
Like surprise, mama.
It's like, how'd you find out about this?
Yeah, how'd you find out about this exact gate we were going in when we arrived
She
at the airport?
came across it
at the exact time. Like,
yeah,
this was premeditated. This was heavily planned between the two of them.
Yep.
And
it was crazy.
Well, I guess he loves his mom too much. But yeah, that was the Am I the Asshole for this week.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Yeah, man. Any other topics, fellas?
Shit, I got nothing. Politics, but it's 1 a.m., so we could probably push that off. Debates are coming up soon, so
hey, don't worry.
We can talk about it when the debates happen. The next debates with Kamala and Trump.
Debate, presidential election coming up, man. We're gonna have some topics coming up in the future.
October surprise.
See where it goes, man.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Is that gonna wrap us up?
Yeah, we'll call it.
Episode, the Intelligent Idea Talkers Podcast. I really wish we had an episode count. I have to go find that out. Like, what episode is this? This has to be like probably like 1 million. 40.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say at least
9,326.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for me to listen to them nowadays, man. Like, if I go back and listen to them, like, I remember when we first started doing it, the audio only podcast, I used to be able to listen, like we were doing it with Ace and all that. Like, now I just can't. It's like, it's kind of weird to listen to myself,
Yeah, I hate my voice.
Yeah, it's kind of cringy a little bit. Like, I don't want to listen to myself. It was weird. But yeah, man. Well, shit.
I don't know, man. Yeah, we can wrap up.
Yeah, it is cringy, right? It's hard for me to listen. Yeah. Like, especially the older cast, like when I used to overtalk people and like not let you guys finish. I was like, man, shut up, man. Shut up and let them talk. Man. I hate listening to myself, man. Fuck. Or when you think of something that you should have said during the cast, you're like, oh, I should have said that shit.
Should have said that shit, yeah.
Damn. Forgot.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. 2016 times, man. This is wild times, man.
Yeah, remember that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
All right, guys.
Hey, Frank, thanks for that Am I the Asshole, man. You're definitely the Am I the Asshole segment guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, thanks.
Straight setup, nice setup, everything, man. I
appreciate it. Juice was like, you got Am I the Asshole? I'm like, yeah, I got one.
It's on deck.
You definitely did, bro. You delivered. You definitely delivered on that shit.
There was another one that's like kind of wild too, but it's like it's quick. It's nothing crazy. It's just kind of funny. I'll talk about it. It's mad fast. Okay. So like there's this dude married to his wife, and he doesn't have a great relationship with the rest of his wife's family. So we're talking like extended family, like cousins and brothers and grandparents or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they usually have gatherings at the can't believe it's like a last minute AITA. But so they usually have gatherings at their wife's family's house, right? Like for holidays and just in general, like a big family thing. So one of these gatherings that they do is like family dinners. So it could be any day of the week, but they just call everybody and everybody comes over and eats. So the husband not having a good relationship, the husband has complained to his wife saying like, your family doesn't care for me. They don't appreciate me. They they don't like, they don't give a shit about me. And the wife's like, man, you tripping, that's not true, and shit like that. And the husband's like, nah, it's for real. And she's like, I don't believe you. So get this, the husband has a twin brother, and the husband, as a joke, decides to have his twin brother take his place for one of these family dinners, just to see.
If I was a twin, I would never agree to this shit.
Just to see if the family would not only notice, but also how they treated, if they did notice how they treated this new person, but looks exactly the same. So he tells the brother this. The brother is game. Mm-hmm. He tells his wife that he's going to do this, and she's game too, because she wants to prove the point that the family is cool with him and he's full of shit. Okay, so the evening comes, call everybody for family dinner. The brothers switch places, dressed the same, same clothes or whatever. The brothers switch places. The brother then goes with his brother's wife to the family dinner, and they act like they're a couple, everything's normal or whatever. When the brother was there, the family treated him the same fucking way as they treated his brother. They did not acknowledge him. They didn't talk to him. They were kind of hostile towards him. The brother, being completely new to the scenario, after everything was said and done, the evening is over. After everything's said and done, he reports back to his brother, and he's like, yo, I never felt so uncomfortable in my life. Like, these people really didn't like me. So this is how it is. And the brother's like, yes. And so the brothers then talk to the wife.
Wait, let me say something?
Yeah.
So it might be a skill issue, because if they don't at least know that you have a twin brother, that might be like part of the issue why they don't fuck with you.
True.
Maybe you're not as personable.
But maybe they don't know shit about you.
So something similar.
How does the wife not notice? How does the wife not notice this as far as her family? I mean, when she's saying that's not true, they treat you
because they're cool with her.
It's just blinders.
She's
just
like no one in her family has communicated why they don't like him. They
don't care enough to.
Okay.
Apparently, it seems like.
I mean, even if I was the wife, I'd be like, "Why are y'all giving him attitude? What's the issue?"
The wife doesn't notice because she's got blinders on, and the family doesn't care to tell her, right? Like, they're just like, we don't care about him. We only care about her. Let her do her, whatever. She's happy.
What the fuck he did?
I personally feel like that's a very.
So that's the thing. He didn't do anything, but maybe, like you said, right? Like, maybe there's some sort of.
Maybe he stank.
Some sort of like reason.
Yeah. They're unarmed. They
smell bad.
Maybe there's some other ulterior reason. But let me just finish the story. Right. So the brothers report to the wife, telling them like, yo, this is what happened. Now you have two people who are telling you the same thing. And the wife's like, what? Nah, I still don't believe it. And so the wife kind of drops it.
You have a third brother.
No.
Nobody knew about
the triplets. That'd be crazy. But no. So then the brother gets so upset at this, that the fact that his wife's not really doing anything or saying anything about it to the family, that he then goes with his twin brother to the next family dinner, which is like, I think the following week. He goes with his twin brother to the family dinner, and he blows it all up, right? Like, he's just like all of y'all are fucking assholes. Like, y'all, I knew y'all treated me wrong. This is my twin brother. It was it was crazy. It was him that was here last week, and y'all didn't even notice. You didn't even notice me. Like, I'm talking like a big blowout, right? Like, big fucking right? And yo, it fucking like the family, like it fucking backfired on him so badly.
So we still don't give a fuck.
Not only did they still not give a fuck,
Like,
not only
Not
did they
gonna
still
like-
not only did they still not give a fuck, but now they made them hate him even more.
the family looked over there like, nigga, please.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So pass potato salad.
That's right.
It made them hate him.
Peas.
So this made them hate him even more. The wife is super upset at him.
I'm embarrassed.
Because not only she's embarrassed, and also on top of that, she thought that it was just that, like, because even though he let her in on it, she thought it was just gonna be like something between them, and it was just gonna be a joke, and that the family would never have to know. Right, especially if it went the other way, right? Like if the family was like, "Oh, hey," and the brother came back and told the other brother, like, "You're full of shit. They treated me nice," or something like that, right? But that's pretty much it. But like, it was just funny. It's just funny, like the fucking
That's some sitcom shit.
switching places, and then like the brother fucking like bringing the twin brother to the next one and saying like, "There's two of me. There's two of us. It was him that was here last week, and y'all treated him like shit too. I knew y'all didn't like me," and I'm like, "Fuck, this is fucking crazy."
To me,
So neither of y'all is invited no more.
The wife is the asshole in this scenario because she's not seeing where the husband's coming from at all. You know what I mean? She's not even willing to talk.
I don't know, man.
Hey,
I disagree.
you guys have any issues?
I think
if it was me, I would have sat my husband and my family, whoever it was, the aunts, the uncle, whoever he thought was treating him the worst. What is your problem with him? You know, because I don't see it. He's saying he's feeling friction coming from you. You know, mediate the thing. You are the common connection between them.
That's fair.
And if the wife is mad that he's blowing up after he's been telling you this is how he's feeling, you're not acknowledging his feelings and trying to do anything to rectify the situation. She's the asshole. Me.
I think that's fair. I think this is a everyone sucks scenario. I think everyone's the asshole scenario here, right? The husband sucks because he's pretentious and he thinks that playing a practical joke because he has a twin brother, playing a practical joke on an entire group of people, it would be funny, but also to prove a point that he was right. So that's why he's the asshole. The wife's an asshole because she's not doing, like you said, like she's not acknowledging the fact that, like, yeah, the family doesn't like him for whatever reason. And the family are assholes because that's really not a way to treat somebody that you're trying to make a part of a family. You know, like, you don't treat people like that. So I think it's an everyone sucks scenario.
The wife,
I feel like
if you love her as a family member, you should try to give her
accept him.
She loves him.
Yeah, you accept him.
Well, here, like,
do your best to accept him.
Like that, yeah.
were they I don't know. I'm trying to think. Were they indifferent to him or were they mean to him?
It seems like mostly it was indifferent. It was indifference, but it was like there was some hostility. There was some hostility. Like, you know, there were some members that just couldn't hide they couldn't hide their words or mince their words with him, and they told the twin brother. You know, they told the twin brother some mean shit. I don't recall. It wasn't mentioned actually. So I'm trying to.
Maybe they knew it was a twin.
I guess my next question would be, how is the husband's personality, right? Because, like you said, maybe he's not vibing.
That's why I think the husband's the asshole. Because who the fuck cares if the fucking people don't like you, or like I don't know. Like, maybe this is just the me thing, but like I'm just like, if I go to a dinner, right, and they feed me, but they're not like talking to me, I'm not gonna be like, why don't they like me? It's just not how I am. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just looking differently. But like, if they're just not talking to me, and I'm like trying to talk to them, but they're like just blowing me off or whatever, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, why did they need to like me? I'm not gonna be like, they need to like me. Yeah, right. That's the thing. Like,
you're not gonna seek validation.
If they don't like you, then you're just like, well, they don't like me. I guess I'm not fucking gonna waste my time with this shit anymore.
Yeah,
like,
okay, if they don't like me,
it doesn't be like,
but as long as my
you
wife,
have to like me.
As long as my wife and me are cool,
that's
weird.
The only
thing that matters.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you and your wife are good and they seem like they have a good relationship, then it doesn't matter if you like bond with their fucking cousin.
Family,
like,
yeah,
The
If it
fucking
doesn't,
hey,
if it
like
doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
they just blood related. Like, and the fact that he's like
They
he
need to
cares
like
about
me.
them liking him so much
Yeah,
that
he
he's
would
willing
insert his
to
twin
pull a
brother.
switcheroo and goddamn, and not only do the
Fucking Parent
switcheroo and
Trap
have
or Freaky
proof,
Friday shit.
but then then do a fucking performance at the next dinner. Like, you just made yourself a laughing stock. First
Bigger
off,
asshole.
they still don't give a shit about you.
Bigger
They
asshole.
still don't like your ass, dog.
They still don't like us. They definitely have now reason. Look, the
Now
way
they
you
have
did
reason.
this,
Yeah.
no, they already had reason, and this is part of it.
Yeah.
That's
Why
why
you
they
be
don't
acting
like your ass.
that?
You doing
For
some
real.
shit like this.
Okay, maybe y'all
Why
changed my
you all
mind. Maybe
doing
the
it and
husband's
shit?
the asshole. Okay, I said the wife. Maybe it's the husband.
Like, they just trying to have dinner. And he's out
Yeah,
here
he
putting
came
a
in there just
goddamn
ruined their
performance.
family
They're
dinner
like,
and shit. Yeah,
I think
you know?
I think out of
stop bringing them around.
I think out of everybody, there has to be like a bigger asshole here, and I would put that on the husband. Yeah, like he's the bigger asshole. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of
So
crazy
weird,
shit
man.
is that though? Like, what?
I would have stopped one of those dinners weeks ago. I'd have been like, man, I
Yeah,
ain't
right?
even going, man. They don't like me, man.
The fact that
Bring
he's
me a
still
plate.
going,
Bring me a plate back. You know? Shit.
like, that's just some insecure shit.
Maybe somebody will like me this week.
Yeah,
Maybe somebody will talk
they
to me
need
this
to
week.
like me.
Mhm.
They have to like me. What's wrong with you?
Well, I mean, you know, I
Don't
guess
you
you
have
do
something
want
to do?
your wife's family to like you. You know, you are a part of the family now. You know, by marriage. You know, it's not unnatural for
Debatable.
It's definitely it
It's
helps.
debatable.
I mean, it helps, but like
It's
at the same time, yo, like it doesn't. Again, it's a sensibilities thing, but like for me, it doesn't matter as
it
long
doesn't
as me and
affect
my
your
wife are
relationship with
good.
your wife. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It does not make any difference with me and my wife's relationship. And as long as that relationship is good, then I'm good. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't
Maybe
care.
the wife
I'll eat your food and I'll leave. You know?
Maybe the
Yeah.
wife is so close to her family that she wants the husband to be close to the family because they're very important to her, and he's trying. Maybe that's why he keeps going to the dinner.
That's also a
like you said,
possibility
maybe
too.
he sucks at trying, and he's
But
the asshole.
but the fucking shit, but that shit falls apart the second he's like,
trying.
yo, bro, I want you to switch places with me, and then I'm gonna make a big show about it next week. And I'm gonna tell them, I tricked y'all, all of y'all.
He hit him with the gotcha.
Yeah.
You don't like me, do you?
You don't like
motherfucker, we don't.
you don't like me.
But why? Why
Yeah,
don't you
now
like
you back
me?
to square one.
I need to be liked.
That's so weird.
That's
so weird.
That was one that I came across. I was like, this is fucking funny. But it was very straightforward. It was just funny. I'm just like, what?
Like, that's some Family Guy shit. Like, that is like some sitcom TV show shit.
It really is. It really is.
And then we at the end of the episode, he'd be like, "See, we're twins," and everybody just like, "The fuck, man."
I mean, what was he expecting when he was like, "Ha"?
Yeah, right.
It was him all along. Everybody was like,
I mean,
you found out.
I guess maybe like depending on, I might have been a little surprised that no one would have noticed. I mean, just because we look the same don't mean we have the same personalities.
They
I mean,
they really didn't fuck with him.
Has no one in her family ever communicated with him? They don't care about this motherfucker at all. Like,
wait. I have a thing though.
Imagine maybe
let's
there
add
was one
something.
cousin that was kind of cool. You know what I mean?
There
like
is a
something.
situation in which this changes. Not really his behavior, but it does change if, I don't know, say he's black and the whole family's white.
Oh shit, Juice. That changes the whole dynamic, bro. Like,
that changes everything.
Yeah, that changes every guy. That puts everything into perspective right there. Well, shit, no wonder they're
okay.
Just thinking to piggyback off of that though, yo, would you imagine like if his twin brother was adopted and his twin brother was a different race entirely?
Oh my god, dude! There's no way. So we don't like neither y'all niggas.
Could you imagine? Like this dude is white. And he's like, yo, bro. He's like, yo, bro, my black brother, I
Yo,
want you to take my place, and I want you to prove that these people don't like me. And it's like, yo, what the
they're just two black guys, and they're like they can't tell them apart. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
he's a little bit taller this time, but fuck this dude still.
yeah, whatever. Sure.
I don't remember him being that tall.
You say he's a little taller this time, but
Did he have a beard last time? Ah, fuck this dude
ah,
still.
well, come on in. Yeah.
Still not
fuck
fucking with him.
crazy?
Dude, that
You
puts
do-
everything in perspective. If he was black and they was white, that makes everything crystal clear. Shit.
His
Yo,
his
could you
twin brother's not
imagine?
even like his brother, it's just his friend.
Fuck.
His other black friend.
Like his stunt double or some shit.
Damn.
Fuck.
Okay. Well, that clarifies things. Shit.
Shit puts everything in perspective with shit.
No, if he
Wait,
was black, they was
Wait,
white. Like,
then
shit.
is he the asshole for doing that? To be like, aha. Then
Oh,
he's not the
definitely an
asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know because
I feel like he's not the asshole. And be like, oh, y'all racist.
Yeah, race comes into it.
Then I'm like, they
And
needed to hear that.
Racism makes you a huge fucking asshole. Like, huge. One of the biggest assholes on earth. You know? So
Yeah.
when race comes into it, it becomes it's definitely skewed in
totally
that
different,
direction.
Shit.
Yeah. Got it.
Ah,
Yeah, figured it out. Got him. Damn.
damn.
Well, he would have had to been bold to go in there and flip out on a house full of white people anyway. You know, I give him props for
True.
that. You know, to go in there and
To call
flip
the
out on
house full of old white people racist.
Your cousins and all that shit, you get your ass whooped in there. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck you yelling at, bro?
They hit you with the get out hypnosis.
Right.
But yeah, I was reading that. I fucking literally laughed out loud, dude. I literally LOL. I was like, oh my god. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Shit. Well, hey,
Yeah.
like I said, man, another good one, Frank. We could have
I know,
led with
funny.
that one. That would have been a good am I the asshole segment.
That's all right.
God damn.
I'll find some more.
Yeah, definitely, man. We'll save those for the next guys.
Yo, the race switcheroo, I can't, dude. Like that would be fucking funny. Oh my
That
god.
shit would have been crazy. That should have been a twist at the end of your story, Frank, but the family was white. It's like, oh, shit, damn, that makes it, yeah, shit.
I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it, man. Like that was like that would have been fucking nuts.
Yeah, that would have been a good reveal.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, damn.
Like,
Yo. God damn.
That's too funny, man. Damn.
Shit.
All right, boys. I guess I was
All
gonna
right,
wrap
Joe.
this up, man.
All right, you
Shit.
guys. Nice talking to
Yep.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Till
joining
next
us,
time.
everybody.
Until next time. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.
Later.
Peace.
Welcome to the Intelligent Idea Pocket Podcast.